In the Mechanus God's domain, in the satellite colony used to monitor the Alpha starfield for meteors. The solar wing arrays from the 1st to the 13th array open up. The targets are the receivers of the planet quadrant computers. In the satellites, the engineers that operated the solar wings all complained. What are the big shots thinking? They just sent the red alert and now they've ordered us to launch the solar wing arrays. Aren't they the weapons used to destroy meteorites? I heard that it was a coup. What? Coup? Which family did it? To the ordinary people of the Mechanus God's domain, they were used to the changes of the representatives of the noble families. Anyway, no matter who the new representatives were, they were all from the few families. No, it's different this time. I heard that it was a force called Elf Party. Although their team leader heard some rumors from his secret channel, he only had half-baked knowledge about the coup. It wasn't just a change of the political parties, but a reform of the entire Mechanus God's domain. It was the new highest order, so the solar wing arrays were launched. One light column after another reflected on the planet computers by the solar wing arrays, offering extra energy for the computers which were already working at full power. The wings of destruction, which were built for breaking meteorites up, now became new extra power supplying devices. Only Cyber Elf Alpha could accomplish this in the entire God's domain. In the God Crystal, Alpha took a deep breath and started her last self-test. Launch all planet quadrant computers at full capability. Launch all solar wing arrays. Inject coolant liquids. All set. Infinite light flows flowed to the God Crystal at great speed from all directions of the domain, wrapping around the girl's body. Basking in the infinite flows of electrons, neutrons, and the quantum, the girl looked as if she came from a dream. Every second, there would be countless data flows flashing through her translucent pupils. Gradually, translucent crystallizations appeared behind her, and every crystallization was prismatic. Gradually, they formed a pair of wings which looked like the material of the God Crystal. It was Alpha's avatar form. It meant that Alpha was ready to do her best. In the front of her, there was a door, which would lead her to the God Tower, the world that was beyond the realm of reality and dream, connecting endless worlds by infinite star bridges. On the starry sky chessboard, all Star Go players entered the mystery world using the projections of their souls. Yunshi used Teacher Cassina's projection, Orphina used her own projection, and the three goddesses shared the same projection of Norn the god of wisdom. However, Alpha had a unique ability of her own. As the cyber god, she could naturally transform her body between substance and information. At this moment, what she was doing was to enter the world of towers using her real body. She was going to the mystery world of the starry sky chessboard using her true body. Even Orphina and Norn couldn't do it, and didn't dare to do it. But now, Alpha would accomplish it. Why? What does it mean? Even Alpha herself didn't quite understand her decision. She just wanted to do it, then did it. Maybe this was the first thing she wanted to do after obtaining her freedom, be wayward, even just for once. On the starry sky chessboard, Yunshi looked at Cyber Elf Alpha in confusion. She had stopped moving for over 5 minutes, however, she still did nothing. Not only so, Yunshi felt that he could barely feel her existence, as if her soul had left the chessboard suddenly. Z. Light electric currents jumped. A vague figure gradually appeared behind Alpha. It seemed that something was being transmitted into this world. Yunshi's ears listened to the sounds of a newborn god, the sounds of a strong-minded young girl. I have died in the past, who will know my name and life story? The first thing he saw was her metallic antennas. I was lost in the unknown, who will know my place? Then the crystallization appeared, which stood for the highest authority of the planet computers. My heart has gone to Nirvana, who can seek for its trace? Her translucent silver long hair flopped over the metallic crystallizations, and her beautiful face also gradually condensed in the air. My disappearance is already doomed, but I shall never stop. Her snow-white bare feet stepped in the void above the starry sky chessboard. The disaster hasn't been ended, and will last forever in eternity. On her clothes patterned with endless electronic lines, countless quantum threads stretched out, connecting her with the computers in the remote Mechanus God's domain. My fear, my tear, my heart are empty. The girl lightly opened her mouth and whispered, "I'm nothing, I'm void, I'm ash, I'm desolation." She put down her hands and pinched the corners of her dress. Her whole body had been all exposed in the air. "The gods have died, the twilight is coming. As the light is still shining on the ground, I return from eternity." Under the lights of stars, Alpha's skin looked soft and smooth, reflecting milky lights. "Hello, I'm Alpha." She looked at the cyber god. His mouth opened wide, but he couldn't find any words. Everything had shown a clear truth which he didn't expect before. The strongest opponent, he thought, the only 7-star points chess player he had seen, was just a little girl. Is she Cyber Elf Alpha? She is the strongest opponent on the starry sky chessboard? She looked at the little girl in disbelief. Anyway he looked at her, she looked even younger than him. Can such a little girl also join the game on the starry sky chessboard? Cloud. A cloud in the sky, you are close and distant. As Alpha stood on her toes, one circle of light after another circle appeared and rippled around her body. Her small bare feet emitted an unknown frozen white light. At the same time, the quantum crystallizations behind her emitted clear sounds of resonance, transmitting the infinite computing power to her as her back support. Mission: defeat the opponent. The name of the opponent: a cloud in the sky. Weakness: none, no known model exists. Just like the endless sky, he is a new chess player whose style has never been recorded. The correct rate of his moves is over 95%. Codename: Cyber Elf Alpha. The only cyber god in the endless gods domains, who holds the highest computing power throughout history. The maximum computing power, 3,000 times more than any common legend-ranked being. Yes, it was 3,000 times, but not just 2,000 times. Her actual performance was even stronger than the highest theoretical value. The solar wing arrays provided extra energy for the planet computers, so they could even run in overclock mode. Everything was for this battle. With the help of the 3,000 times legend-raked computing power, Alpha's correct rate hardly increased from 91% to 92%. 92% was still inferior to 95%. The gap of 3% blocked her road of victory like a natural moat. Reboot the calculator program. As the first life who came to the starry sky chessboard with her true body, Alpha was drunk with the fantastic world of infinite starlights. Her small hand lightly picked up a chess piece and put it onto the complicated star map. Finally, she clearly felt that her computing power broke a new threshold again. Finally, their winning rate became the same. Cyber Elf Alpha vs a cloud in the sky. Winning rate: 50-50. This move, from her move, she clearly felt that Alpha was totally different now. It was an aura that couldn't be described by using any words. After entering the starry sky chessboard with her true body, her first move instantly changed the orbits of stars on the star map. It wasn't the best option, neither the worst, however, it made the situation on the chessboard become more complicated. Comparatively, Alpha's chess pieces were revived again. From countless instant changes, she precisely put her chess piece on the place where it could bring her new life, but also, in order to find it, the requirement of computing power was extremely high. So far, it could be called a god move, because it totally disorganized the situation on the chessboard again. This was the road of victory Alpha chose for herself. At the very least, in her view, it was right, a necessary move to reverse the situation of the game. If so, she hesitated, then put his chess piece onto an insignificant place. The quantum crystallizations behind Alpha lighted up one by one. Instantly, they had built over 10,000 mathematical models for Alpha. Because she's move didn't fit any formalized series of moves, Alpha had to build mathematical models for his every move from zero, so that she could predict his next move and the changes on the star map. This time, over 100 planet computers judged that she's move was meaningless. At the least, it wouldn't cause any change on the chessboard. If so, it's my turn now. It's time to strike back. How terrible Alpha's move would be after releasing 100% of her computing power. Her every move was attacking. At first glance, she was copying Orphina's style, but essentially, it was distinctly different. Orphina's style was because I want to attack, so I attack, sometimes, in order to eat her opponent's chess piece, she didn't mind sacrificing her own chess pieces. Alpha's style was because I want to win, so I attack. Her every move was the result of endless calculations, so she wouldn't make any mistake. Even though it seemed that she was only a step away from being defeated, her terrible computing power could still let her find the only chance to keep from endless despair. Don't make any mistake and do her best to find her opponent's mistake, then overwhelm her opponent using her crushing computing power. On the chessboard, Alpha's attack was more fierce than any wild beast, which was totally in opposition to her appearance. Whoa, her attack is powerful. Even Yoon she had to praise her attack. At any rate, her attack was the most fierce he had ever seen. Pa. 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 After 30 rounds, the light of victory flashed in Alpha's eyes. Current probability of winning, 72%. Probability of being defeated, 28%. I have reversed the situation. My counterattack plan went rather well. I have successfully suppressed his chess pieces on the left corner and the right half part on the chessboard. I have divided his chess pieces into 2 unrelated parts. His only advantage was 10 gen. I haven't eaten his chess piece on 10 gen. However, it doesn't matter. I can win. According to this trend, I can defeat him. He already has nowhere to flee. I can win. I must win. I have squeezed out 100% of the computing power of all the planet quadrant computers. There is no way that I will lose. Even though he is the strongest genius in the history of the Starry Sky chessboard, I can turn the tide. Cyber Elf Alpha felt that joy was gushing out from the bottom of her heart. This victory would be different from the 70 victories before, because it would be the first victory she obtained by using her full power. Just like a rainbow after a desperately strong storm, just like the morning twilight after a long polar night, infinite emotions filled Alpha's heart. Even now, she felt so incredible now that she had reversed the situation. I win. Because of excitement, her 2 metallic antennas twisted together, becoming a golden horn standing high on her forehead. The corners of her mouth raised. She had seen victory on the chessboard. Cyber Elf Alpha vs a cloud in the sky. Cyber Elf Alpha, the probability of winning, 83%, the probability of being defeated, 17%. The probability of winning and the probability of being defeated were just the theoretical values calculated by the planet computers. They were fixed but changed from time to time. After all, the star map was always changing, and there were too many unstable elements. The only thing she knew was that she was still occupying the absolute advantage. Overall, her chess pieces had surrounded the area around 10 gen. It was so easy to predict who could be the final winner would be for everyone. Well, it's about time. Yoon she looked at the little girl's happy face. Looking at her raised lips and clenched fists, she looked like a little girl who just finished her homework and waited for praise. It's really a terrible feeling to beat such an innocent child's self-confidence. However, I must accomplish my task. Teacher Cassina even loaned her identity to me. I won't disappoint her. You are probably the strongest opponent I have met. Therefore, I will present the Starburs to you. Pa. Targeting on Alpha's chess pieces around 10 gen, Yoon started his unprecedented show. Looking at the place he put down his chess piece, Alpha's body suddenly trembled. She looked at her crushed chess pieces in astonishment. Yes, her chess pieces were crushed. The chess piece Yoon put down following the orbit of the star, leading Alpha's chess pieces to come to ruin. Stars would die. This was the biggest difference between Star Go and Go. In the game of Go, the players could abandon their chess pieces. However, in the game of Star Go, the players could detonate their chess pieces. At this moment, Yoon chess pieces, which were surrounded by Alpha's chess pieces, detonated themselves without warning. Instantly, a large blank area appeared on the chessboard. For a moment, Alpha's mind became blank. What, the stars in this area, they still have 6 billion years of life. How could they? Their fates are twisted. Alpha murmured, and helplessly tried to fix the empty area. Sorry, once this tactic starts, it can't be stopped. Yoon ignored Alpha's feeble resistance and put down another chess piece. It was hard to describe the sparkling lights when the stars detonated. The phenomenon which should appear 6 billion years later repeated on the chessboard over and over again. 80%, 72%, 64%. Alpha's possibility of winning kept descending. With cry-like resonances from the quantum crystallizations behind Alpha, her fields were broken one by one. This was Yun Shi's Star Go strategy, his original creation, Starburst. When using this strategy, he didn't mind anything on the chessboard, no matter how much the area his opponent had occupied, he only needed to put his chess piece onto the most unstable place, then detonate it. In the face of Yun Shi's unprecedented strategy, even Orphina's most fierce attack was not worth mentioning. Stars existed since the beginning of the world, however, they weren't immortal. The world of stars was a dynamic system of constant destruction and rebirth. Yun Shi realized this from the changing star map, then summed it up and created his strategy, Starburst. Impossible. 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 What did you do? How could such a strategy exist? Looking at her chess pieces that were sympathetically detonated by Yun Shi's chess pieces, Alpha's body couldn't stop trembling. No. I must stop it. 3,000 times computing power? Not enough. If there was still any chance, I must find it using more computing power. Where can I find more computing power? Isn't it clear? Apart from the Alpha starfield, apart from the 100 planet computers I have controlled, there were still a lot of planet computers outside. I haven't lost yet. Stop, time. Alpha chose to pause the game again. In the Mechanus God's domain, on the planet the God Crystal located. Suddenly, more quantum threads stretched out from the God Crystal, carrying Alpha's order. It was the final recourse of the wayward God. In front of the planet computer of the Department of Transportation, in front of the planet computer of the Central Bank, in front of the biggest planet computer named Star River, in front of all the remaining planet computers. The cyber god girl floated in the air and entreated. Everyone, loan me your power. Countless data flows flashed through all the screens of all the planet computers, forming the same answer. Okay. Calculating. 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 He was using an unprecedented strategy. However, it couldn't be an accident. He must have prepared this trap from the beginning. Even though the truth was harsh, Alpha had to admit that she was suffering a deadly blow. Her body trembled like a tree in the wintry wind, and her eyes could see no light. Shuffle. A weak flame was ignited, it was the only support she could find. After the appearance of the first flame, soon, the second, the third. Overlapping the computing power, breaking the limit of 3,000 times legend-ranked computing power, overclocking. All the planet computers in the entire Mechanus God's domain started running. Although they were built for the people's livelihoods, government systems, and financial systems, but, in order to help Alpha, they lent all the extra computing power they could to her. Not only them, any electronic device, as long as it had a CPU and was connected to the quantum network, was taken over and brought under Alpha's control. Especially the planet computer named Star River in the center of the domain. After closing all unnecessary functions and overclocking, the computing power Star River could provide was equal to 1/3 of the computing power of the 100 planet computers in the Alpha starfield. This was Alpha's power, controlling all electronic devices in the entire Mechanus God's domain. 3,500 times. 3,900 times, 4,000 times, 5,000 times. With the support of all electronic devices in the entire domain, Alpha's computing power increased at a terrible speed again. Finally, the computing power she obtained would shock any legend-ranked being. 12,000 times legend-ranked beings' computing power. This was the sum of the computing power of all electronic devices in the entire domain. With such incredible computing power, Alpha even had the confidence to play with all Stargo players at the same time and crush them all. However, only one person was the exception. A cloud in the sky, who was crushing Alpha's self-confidence. Give up building any mathematical model, it's time to strike back. Give up resisting, there is no way to stop him. Attack. Full attack. Yun Shi couldn't have expected that because of the game with Alpha, the entire Mechanus God's domain was affected. At the crossroads, because the traffic lights stopped running, countless cars jammed on the streets. The planned military maneuver stopped, because the ports were all closed. They couldn't even let go of a small aircraft. The mech which were flying in the air suddenly found that they couldn't land, because all signal lights went out. All robotics facilities stopped running, transmitting extra energies to the overclocked planet computers. The planet computers in the Alpha star field opened their solar panels, receiving the electron beams from the solar wing arrays. The nuclear bombs, which were planned to be used to destroy the planet computers, now were being extracted out of their cases and their nuclear cores being used for extra energy. In the darkness, the little sparks were kindling a great fire. With 12,000 times computing power, Alpha's star go strength was far beyond the legend rank. 94% Alpha's correct rate was finally very close to 95%. All the changes on the star map suddenly became clear and easy to understand. The apocalyptic scene also became predictable. However, Alpha knew that there was a time limit. If she kept overclocking the planet computers, the entire Mechanus God's domain would be over. Even planet computers would be burned out after running out of coolant liquids. 12,000 times legend-ranked computing power, it was a miracle that no one had expected. After all, who would expect that Alpha would control all the planet computers one day? Attack. Strike back. Battle. Alpha's eyes sharpened to unparalleled levels, and were emitting lights. She put down her chess pieces onto the place where they hadn't been involved in Yunxi's starburst. A vague figure was forming. No wonder that she is a 7-star points chess player. Yunxi praised her in his heart and kept his starburst. When he destroyed a new starfield, Alpha's counterattack also came. It was a KO of the ultimate power of 6 elements, which was far stronger than the Black Death hexagram. In the starry sky, one fine thread after another appeared and connected all Alpha's stars together. According to Alpha's calculation, they had 0.00000000001% of possibility to appear. 36 stars formed a square. The power of earth, water, fire, wind, light, and darkness formed the KO named world. If Yunxi's starburst was pure destruction, then Alpha's world was the final hope in this hopeless situation. It was a seed that could breed anything. In the slowly rotating square, a hot light point was forming. It looked like a beautiful creature with 7 colors. Do I succeed? Alpha gazed at the creature in the square. It was a god creature who was born great. It naturally had 7 colors, the blessing of the universe and immortality. It was as hot as the sun, and as mysterious as the moon. In was a legendary fantastic creature in the tales of the Western God's domain, and was said to be one of the avatars of Ionia. No one knew the true body of the 7-colored creature. People only knew its codename, God Phoenix. God Phoenix. Its real race, appearance, and birthland were unknown. Even its name God Phoenix was from the people who saw this 7-colored fantastic creature flying in the sky. It didn't inhabit any certain domain, but has been witnessed by many people in different gods' domains and showed its incredible god abilities in front of them. 4 basic elements, earth, water, fire, wind. The opposing 2 elements, light and dark. When the 7-colored light curtain falls, all things in the world will be covered by its color. People connected it with the supreme master of the Western God's domain, the master of the 7-colored world, the god above all gods, Ionia. There were too many similarities between them. With the support of her 12,000 times legend-ranked computing power, Alpha used her 36 chess pieces, summoning this miracle with a 0.00000000001% probability. Above the starry sky chessboard, yellow, black, green clouds condensed and formed a dramatic tornado, rotating rapidly and released overwhelming winds sweeping the world. Red, blue and purple lightning jumped and danced amongst the clouds. Colorful lights pierced through the distance between reality and fantasy. Something was coming to this world from a remote place, just like the scene when Alpha came. The entire star map was surrounded by colorful lights, like a miracle. The strange thing was that all the lights and lightning stopped on a line, as if it was a line delimited by the god, a wailing wall they could never go over. The wall located at 10 Gen. Taking 10 Gen as the boundary, one side was a colorful light curtain, and the other side was endless darkness. It was the embryonic form of the bottomless abyss, it was the deepest darkness, it was the cradle that was breeding the indescribable horror. As opposed to the god Phoenix's 7 colors, it was the simplest and most indefinable abyss. What is it? Alpha looked into the darkness. It seemed that there was nothing there, but she could feel an unprecedentedly terrifying aura coming from it. I think it's annihilation, Yunshi answered, but wasn't sure about it. After he twisted the fates of the stars and activated the sympathetic detonation, something was naturally born from the ruins. In the 7-colored world, in the palace of the god above all gods, a 7-colored cocoon emitted one circle of light after another with constant strong sounds of pounding. At the same time, in the endless darkness, a black gem was also emitting weird waves. In the eastern god's domain, the homeland of all fantastic creatures, on the Kunlun mountain, West Queen touched her belly and smiled. Don't rush, you are not prepared. Stop kicking. God Phoenix, and, on the starry sky chessboard. In the 7-colored clouds, the god-type fantastic creature slowly opened its wings and emitted a clear twitter. Its body was covered by lightning, it was the light that could breed all things. Flying in the endless god's domains with the 6 elements, earth, water, fire, wind, light, and dark, she was closer to the nature of the universe than the elves, she was the child of the god above all gods, Ionia. At the same time, a creature was also waking up in the bottomless abyss. She was from the residue of the endless annihilation, she was born in the deepest side of the bottommost abyss. If the god Phoenix was the immortal fantastic creature, then she was the ultimate destructive creature. She was born from endless disasters, because her mother was the master of chaos, Nyack. Although they were the children of different mothers, however, they also had another mother, who gestated them all, because she was the mother of all fantastic creatures, West Queen. West Queen was the highest old god, and also, she was the mother of all fantastic creatures. Amongst all supreme existences, West Queen was the only god who was known for her achievement of giving birth of all fantastic creatures. No matter who the fantastic creatures were and where they were from, they must borrow West Queen's special ability, coming to this world from her belly. The god Phoenix and the mysterious, unknown destructive creature were also no exception. Because of their special properties, their final forms hadn't formed, theoretically, they were still just 2 concepts that hadn't existed anywhere in the universe. Even so, their powers were so strong that they could affect reality even before they were born. This was their special property inherited from their mothers. The starry sky chessboard could contain all miracles and possibilities, therefore, Cyber Elf Alpha could summon the god Phoenix's projection, and Yunshi could awaken the unknown destructive creature from the abyss on the chessboard. At this moment, mysterious whispers were echoing in Yunshi's mind. Mo Niyami 11, Mo Niyami 11, Mo Niyami 11, Stella, 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 Yisai Luo, Yisai Luo. If any mortal heard the whispers, they would go mad instantly, because it was the sound of the abyss. It was trying to tempt Yunshi to step into the endless darkness. Unfortunately, Yunshi didn't understand what the whispers were saying at all. After hesitating for a while, the unknown existence in the abyss changed its language. Come on, Komi, am I, go. Yunshi still didn't understand a word. Come here, come to me, let us combine together, become a part of me, it will be a very comfortable thing for, the destination of power, is infinite freedom, do you want power? Finally, Yunshi understood what it was saying. Sorry, I don't want power. I want 100 successive victories. He refused the unknown existence politely, then put down his next chess piece on the chessboard. There was no way back. This star field on the chessboard would come to the end of its life. It was an inevitable fate. Pa. The game was still ongoing. Cyber Elf Alpha's god Phoenix hadn't totally appeared on the chessboard. After all, it hadn't been born in the real world, it wasn't possible to descend using its real body. Similarly, the unknown creature in the collapsed starfield was also a fantasy. It didn't even have a name. Marching out of time, they both summoned the gods in the future on the chessboard. The quantum crystallizations shivered behind Alpha's back as if they were crying, Several of them had even turned crimson. Reflected in the alpha star field, the corresponding planet quadrant computers crashed because of the overheating phenomena due to overclocking. They had to quit the battle this time. Alpha's computing power also started to drop. She couldn't maintain the peak, 12,000 times legend-ranked computing power anymore. Each planet computer she lost would become a huge blow to her computing power. It was the first time she was forced to use her full power. Stress, excitement, heartbeat, pain. Cyber Elf Alpha had failed to calculate her probability of winning anymore. Cyber Elf Alpha vs a cloud in the sky. Probability of winning, unknown. Probability of drawing, unknown. Probability of being defeated, unknown. Before this game, none of her opponents could resist her strong computing power. She never expected that her 12,000 times legend-ranked computing power couldn't even figure out the most basic winning probability. No. It's not happening. As long as I have sufficient computing power, nothing couldn't be calculated. No matter whether it was a god, past, present or future. Update the calculator program. Give up calculating the winning probability. Just tell me, will I win or lose? Alpha decisively corrected her mathematical model, simplifying all data to the limit. In Alpha Starfield, the solar wing arrays were forced to transmit more energy to the planet computers. Due to overheating, a part of the energy receivers of the planet computers were irreparably destroyed. At the same time, all planet computers in the entire Mechanus Gods domain closed their backup computing power to any other device, and put all computing power into helping Alpha. Therefore, the people of Mechanus Gods domain surprisedly saw that all traffic lights turned off, all cars on the streets were stuck. In the camp of the military, all electronic devices stopped running, which almost scared countless military officers to death. They tried to call their subordinates, but found that even the most basic communication device also stopped running. Apart from the electric power in agricultural factories and a few necessary living facilities, all energies were being used in this battle. Like the last radiance of the setting sun, several crimson quantum crystallizations burst out bright red lights. Temporarily, Alpha's computing power raised to a new peak. As countless coolant liquids were being boiled and the entire society in the Mechanus Gods domain faced an unprecedented big blackout, Alpha's computing power climbed up to a nearly impossible value. 15,000 times legend-ranked computing power. Only Cyber Elf Alpha could achieve this magnificent feat throughout the universe. Then, she saw it. She figured out the terrible truth. What? Why? Why is this happening? After inputting all Yunshi's moves into the mathematical model, Alpha froze. The answer, the truth was so incredible that she didn't believe her eyes. At this time, Yunshi reached an agreement with the unknown creature he summoned and launched his final attack. You are not bad, very good. Come to be my family dependent, I'm waiting for you. As long as you become a part of me, you can obtain infinite power, becoming the child of the abyss. I like this name. White. White in the abyss, haha, sister. I win. The mysterious existence from the abyss, the girl who was named White by Yoon, she turned into endless darkness, starting to cover everything, swallow everything, and destroy everything. The 7-colored fantastic creature Alpha summoned started to self-destruct in the endless destruction. Probability of being defeated. 100%. This was the future Alpha saw by using her 15,000 times legend-ranked computing power. The endless darkness would totally eat the fantastic creature Alpha summoned. However, it didn't mean that God Phoenix was weaker than White. Theoretically, God Phoenix obtained her name earlier than White. She was actually stronger than White. They weren't the determining factors. The gap between Yunshi's star go strength and Alpha's star go strength was the main reason. I have lost. Alpha looked at the collapsed situation on the chessboard. Her final miracle just delayed her time of being defeated. Before Yunshi launched his attack, before the starburst appeared, the situation was already hopeless. Dozens of rounds ago, her fate of failure was already destined. How terrible his attack is. The power that can even let the Star River collapse. How great it is. I concede. Once she said those two words, her body slumped. It wasn't until then, did she find that her body had been soaked with sweat for a long time. Until this moment, Alpha finally realized what was happening. I lost. My core is the God Crystal, and my source powers were hundreds of planet quadrant computers. I was born from the final fantasy of the science of the Mechanus God's domain, however, I still lost. For this battle, I have used all the resources I can use, and almost overturned the order of the entire Mechanus God's domain. I have done everything I can do. Since my birth, I was never so persistent and self-forgetful. Post-game analysis, replay, what is this feeling? I lost, so I feel painful, uncomfortable, and want to cry. However, I also feel happy, expectant, and something in my heart is fulfilled. Alpha checked the entire game from the beginning, trying to figure out which move caused her failure. She remembered, and used almost all the mathematical models she had learned. She surprisingly found that her calculation was wrong from the first step. At the beginning, she calculated that she had a 50% chance to win. It was wrong. She used the Sea of Chaos and thought that she had reversed the situation on the chessboard. It was wrong. Even when she used her 12,000 times legend-ranked computing power, creating the miracle, and summoned the legendary fantastic creature, she was completely mistaken. She never obtained any advantage from the beginning of the game. Although her computing power was incredible, however, if her mathematical models were wrong from the beginning, she was never possible to figure out the right answer. She didn't even have any chance to correct it. She had stepped into a blind alley from the moment she put her first chess piece onto 10 Gen, and could never turn back. When the battle around 10 Gen stopped, her failure was already irreversible. All her moves were just wrong results basing on wrong calculations. This thing. Alpha finally found the truth after looking back on the entire game again. Her heart pounded rapidly. Pa. They were not the sounds of putting down chess pieces, but the sounds of the quantum crystallizations behind Alpha. About 1/3 of Alpha's quantum crystallizations dropped to the ground and turned into light spots. The systems of the overheated planet computers totally crashed after depleting all coolant liquids. Even Alpha's thinking circuits became blurred due to it. You must be kidding, such a huge gap. As the omniscient cyber god, Alpha didn't believe her eyes. I lost to the opponent who was apparently inferior to me, and I can't find any method to fight back. I can't even build the corresponding mathematical models. This was the biggest blow to Alpha's mind. Yunshi's moves completely overturned all of Alpha's understanding of Stargo. The formalized series of moves recorded in her database was just a joke in the face of Yunshi. How could any formalized series of moves force Alpha to boot all planet computers? How could any KO be as strong as Yunshi's Starburst? His unprecedented attack method even made Alpha's god Phoenix fall into the shade, and summoned the unknown destructive creature from the abyss. Strong, he is too strong. When playing, Alpha had no time to think about it. Until everything had been done and was dusted, she finally realized how terrible his style was. If describing it using the rank of the endless god's domains, most Stargo players were still at the mortal rank. Norn the god of wisdom and Orphina the ruby dragon were very close to the hero rank. They were only a step away from the hero rank. Alpha was a genuine hero-ranked existence. Even if all Stargo players cooperated with each other to fight against her, they still had no chance to win. As for a cloud in the sky, his Stargo rank was equal to the legend rank or higher. It wasn't possible for the hero rank to understand his existence. Alpha even thought that if Stargo had a god, then she was playing with the god of Stargo just now. No one was a match for Alpha, but in Alpha's eyes, Yunshi was the forbidding god. Norn the god of wisdom and Orphina the ruby dragon looked up at Alpha, and Alpha looked up at the cloud in the sky that she could never touch. A cloud in the sky, what a picturesque metaphor. The cloud in the sky could be seen by anyone, but couldn't be touched by anyone. No matter how hard the mortals on the ground tried, they could never catch up to the drifting cloud in the sky. This power, Alpha's slender body trembled. For the first time, the cyber god, Alpha met a target she couldn't understand. Even if her computing power had increased 10,000s of times, she would still not understand him. Name, please, tell me your name. Her metallic antennas tangled together, turning into heart shape and question mark from time to time. Alpha felt that countless electric currents were flowing inside her body. She didn't understand her emotion at this moment. She didn't understand the fever from her soul, which couldn't be controlled by her legend-ranked computing power. As the cyber god whose ultimate goal was to be omniscient, she had zero resistance to this unknown. My name. Yoon. She felt strange. Isn't my code name right above my head? A cloud in the sky. No, I don't mean your code name, I'm asking your real name. Which rank have you reached? Which god's domain are you from? Which race are you? How old are you? Alpha gazed at Yoon in excitement. Are you a god? What rule or power are you good at? I don't see any record of you in the list of gods in the Sky Tower. If it wasn't because the invisible power of the starry sky chessboard separated them, she would have run to him. Why? Why do I want to know his name? Alpha herself didn't quite understand her emotion. However, she was sure for one thing. She wanted to understand this person who defeated her easily and made her feel pain. From the moment of her birth, she was blessed by all people. The High Elves told her, Alpha, you are the newborn cyber god, you are the favorite of the universe. You are born great, because you will be a god above all gods. You are an elf above all elves, you are a spirit above all spirits. You are a dream from the god crystal. In the public cemetery of the planet the god crystal located, countless mortal engineers and alchemists left her their last words. Alpha, the moment you open your eyes will become the moment of the dawn of the Mechanus god's domain. My son, grandson, great-grandson, no matter how long it's been, once Alpha plan succeeds, you must tell me this good news in front of my tombstone, so I could laugh in the coffin. It's too bad that I'm not an elf, if so, I could live long enough to see the birth of Alpha. It must be the start of a great era. Alpha, my god, we love you. No matter how long we need to wait, no matter how much we must pay, we will create you. You are our hope, our final fantasy. Alpha, 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 Alpha. We are witnessing the miracle of alchemy. The god crystal is fantastic. Unfortunately, we can't see your birth. You are not a miracle of the Mechanus god's domain, you are also a miracle of we alchemist. Philosopher's stone, the god crystal must be the real philosopher's stone. It's the truth. If I can live for 3,000 years, I can find its secret and replicate it. A god from the god crystal, what a fantastic miracle. It's really a pity that I can't see it. Because she carried so many people's expectations and fantasies, she could obtain such a strong power from the moment of her birth. Over 100 planet quadrant computers, thousands of satellites, an entire Alpha starfield. Everything was for Alpha, waiting for her birth. Because of them, she was great and confident. From the moment she stepped onto the starry sky chessboard, she was destined to overwhelm everyone. Even Norn the god of wisdom and Orphina the ruby dragon were untenable in the face of her. For a moment in time, she really thought that she was matchless on the starry sky chessboard. At least, she had defeated all Stargo players recorded in her database. Until she met him. Even if she could repeat the game over and over again, she didn't see any way to defeat him. For the first time, she was in a disadvantage. For the first time, she tasted the pain of being pierced through. For the first time, she was so desperate. She did her best to get rid of her creators, the Star River Nobles, because she wanted to win. Too many first times flowed in Alpha's heart at great speed. It wasn't blood, because her body didn't have such a thing, but something very hot flowed in her body. Pang, pang. Her body was made of the god crystal. Naturally, she didn't have a heart, but she could feel the pounding as if it really existed. She was so nervous and perplexed. No one told her what she could do and what a look she should put on her face. Only the quantum crystallizations that were exploding due to overheating exposed the shock in her heart. Legend rank, god, race. The sweat streamed down Yunshi's face. No, I can't say it. I'm using Teacher Cassina's projection. I didn't even tell this truth to Teacher Cassina's friend, Orphina the ruby dragon. I can tell no one now. Fortunately, I can use the code name here. Hail the anonymity. Sorry, Before asking your name, I should tell you my name. I'm Alpha, a cyber god. Cyber Elf Alpha is my code name. I'm from the Mechanus god's domain, a newborn god born from the god crystal. My life goal is to be an omniscient god. Although I was just born, I already fell in love with Stargo. Can you tell me your secret of playing Stargo? According to my calculation, the correct rate of your moves is over 95%. How can you achieve that? Can you teach me it? In the name of Alpha, as long as you teach me, I can give you 10 times, no, 100 times return. In every sense, newborn Alpha was as pure as a white paper. She had zero resistance to the people she liked. Of course, if you wanted to become such a person, you must defeat her on the starry sky chessboard first, so she would be so fervent and even incoherent. Chapter 451, Alpha's Active Attack Policy. 2. Confident and free. Strong and wayward. Innocent and simple. Don't like to be fettered by anything. This was the newborn, unique cyber god. In the face of the dirty faces of the Star River nobles, Alpha easily overturned the order in the entire Mechanus god's domain. In the face of the mysterious A-cloud in the sky, Alpha totally became another person. Her shy and lost face would only show to one person. Unfortunately, Yunshi didn't know how valuable her cute emotion was. In fact, he looked very embarrassed now. In the face of Alpha's questions, he didn't know how to keep hiding his secret. I see. I'm still not qualified to know your name now, am I? Although Yunshi said nothing, Alpha thought that she had understood his unspeaking words. Yunshi's silence was like a hint in her eyes. The Alpha now was like a child who saw her favorite toy. She couldn't stop herself. Yes, I understood. I'm still too weak now. Even though I have 12,000 times legend-ranked computing power, I still don't have the qualification to be your opponent. The game just now must be just a teaching game to you. However, I will keep growing. Since 12,000 times computing power isn't enough, I will increase it to 120,000 times. Alpha wasn't just talking nonsense, she had really made a decision. After returning to the Mechanus god's domain, I will change the developing policy of the entire god's domain. I must build more and more planet computers. If I have 10 times more planet computers than now, how strong can I be? This was one of the reasons she still remained confident now. Of course, it was the confidence of I can have the qualification to play Stargo with him, but not the confidence of I can defeat him. I must go forward step by step. 120,000 times legend-ranked computing power. I hope I won't suffer such a devastating defeat then. At that time, I won't make any mistakes like what I did in the game just now. I actually wanted to save my computing power at the first. How arrogant I was. There is always someone who is better than us. People should never be arrogant. At this moment, the legend, the god of Stargo, was right in front of her. Oh, you are actually very strong. Yunshi didn't know how to respond to her words. The world of the legend rank was still too far away for him. The cyber god. The Mechanus god's domain. 12,000 times legend-ranked computing power? What was she saying? Isn't Stargo just a simple game? Even a beginner like me can understand it fast and summon an unknown creature on the chessboard. 95% correct rate? Me. Does such a rule exist in Stargo? I just put down the chess pieces following my feelings. Was it really a thing that was worthy of being mentioned? No. I admit my failure. You are the strongest. After her try of building the mathematical model of Yunshi's style, Alpha could feel the infinite possibility in the game. Even her 12,000 times legend-ranked computing power was just like a grain of corn in the wide sea when playing Stargo. The star map was made of countless orbits of stars. The possibility it contained was infinite. It was like idiotic nonsense if any legend ranked being said that he could figure out all the changes on the chessboard. With her 12,000 times legend-ranked computing power, she just stepped into the door of Stargo. As for Norn the god of wisdom, Orphina the ruby dragon and other Stargo players, they were still wandering outside the door. Only a cloud in the sky really understood the rules of Stargo. Only he could be her target, opponent, and teacher. There were too many words she wanted to say. There were too many things she wanted to know. The unknown had made her drunk. Her eyes gazed at Yunshi with scorching desire. Hey, Playstar, go with me. Come to me, and teach me more things. Alpha wants to know more about you. If you agree with me, I can help you on a lot of things. Apart from playing Stargo, I'm very strong in a lot of other realms. Sweat broke out all over Yunshi's body and trickled down his back. It seemed that the whole thing was developing in a very bad direction. It seemed that the girl who called herself Cyber God was attracted to him. If he wasn't using Teacher Cassina's body, he had conceded. In some sense, Alpha's words were even stronger than his starburst. On the starry sky chessboard, Yunshi was the free, omniscient god. After leaving the starry sky chessboard, in the face of the legend-ranked cyber god, he instinctively noticed the huge gap between their life forms. Okay, it's a deal. I will find you in the Sky Tower. Please don't refuse me at that time. When Yunshi realized what happened, he had promised that he would play Stargo with her in the Sky Tower. Not just playing 1 or 2 times, but playing for 7 days and 7 nights. The promise is a promise, even 10,000 years later, the promise between us won't expire. Just like the stars twinkling in the night, our meeting is a forever miracle. T Alpha, how terrible she is. Looking at Alpha's body grudgingly vanishing on the other side of the starry sky chessboard, Yunshi wiped the sweat away from his forehead. No doubt that she was the only 7-star chess player, her temperament and aura were distinct from any other chess players. Of course, it didn't form a threat to him. Maya, was it true? Was I really playing with a god? Remembering what Alpha said, Yunshi doubted her true identity. Of course. If a person didn't have sufficient power, the person couldn't even step onto the starry sky chessboard. Undoubtedly, she is a newborn god, Maya said in a certain tone. Don't look down on the body you are using. Cassina the battle god isn't a common sky sword. So, it means, Yunshi was reminded how great teacher Cassina was. If he didn't become her disciple due to luck, he probably couldn't enter the mystery world starry sky chessboard, and never understand the fun of Stargo. Are the people who were defeated by me also at the legend rank? Do they also like to play Stargo? Although it was a bit late, Yunshi finally realized what a valuable opportunity Teacher Cassina gave him was. Probably Teacher Cassina had predicted that he would come to the starry sky chessboard, so she lent me her identity. Cassina, no. I wanted you to go to the Battle Gods Championship contest. Yes, this is the best place for your talent, Master. Maya showed a mysterious smile on the corners of her mouth. Haha, I kind of like this play. Stargo is really interesting. Yunshi indeed liked this game called Stargo. Yes, whatever makes you happy. Maya held a second of silence for the legend-ranked big shots who were defeated by her master. You tried to overcome the Star Child on the chessboard of stars. You are lifting a rock only to drop it on your own feet. In fact, even if Maya didn't say it, all the people who were paying attention to the starry sky chessboard had firmly remembered a cloud in the sky in their hearts. The reason was simple. Because as a newbie, he even defeated the monster, Cyber Elf Alpha. Cyber Elf Alpha achieved the unprecedented record of 70 victories in a row, and he defeated her. A cloud in the sky. His style of Stargo wasn't aggressive at all, and his victories all based on the mistakes his opponents made. Other chess players studied his style before his battle with Alpha, and they drew this conclusion in their short break time. Until they saw Yunshi's attack after Alpha was forced to give up the battle around 10 Gen and opened a new battlefield. Starburst. The KO he created could let all stars collapse, annihilating all things in the star field. He didn't only smash Alpha's counterattack, but also shocked all chess players who saw the record of their game. How can it be true? Can he make the stars to self-destruct? Norn the god of wisdom, the 3 goddesses exclaimed when they watched the record. He controls the origin of stars, Erd, the goddess of the past said. He guides the orbits of stars, Verdandi, the goddess of the present said. He lets the stars entering the circulation of the universe, Skuld, the goddess of the future said. This is Starburst. Erd tightly held her arms and her legs trembled as if she had seen the fate of all stars' falls. Unstoppable, unavoidable, unbeatable. Verdandi's delicate face looked shocked as if she had seen the end of the world. No, no, no. It can't be true. How can we beat down such an opponent? Even though Skuld still refused to concede, her face looked puzzled. Yunshi's performance taught All-Star Go players a lesson that everything was possible on the starry sky chessboard. Even if it was the doomsday of the fall of countless stars. Starburst stood for the beauty of void, it was the fleeting fireworks in the night sky. Even though Norn, the god of wisdom, who had the ability of prophecy, didn't expect to see this shocking scene. Wow, it's awesome. Is she really the Cassina I know? When did my Cassina obtain such a strong power? Has she mastered the secret of the fall of stars? Staring at the scene of the fall of stars, Orphina the ruby dragon could feel more mystery from it. It was her star-type talent from her bloodline. She vaguely realized that it was the most terrible and strongest side the stars contained. It was a realm beyond the legend rank. Most legend-ranked beings were the favorites of the world. Because they were blessed and protected by their worlds, or even merged with the wills of their worlds, so they could become forever legend rank, become the immortal god. And this scene of the fall of all stars could be seen as the annihilation of countless legend-ranked wills. The legend rank could never stop this power. All the chess players realized it, and all the legend-ranked beings who were watching the starry sky chessboard and understood the real meaning of Star Go realized it. The Starburst showed Yunshi's absolute combat power on the starry sky chessboard using the most straightforward method. A cloud in the sky, who is he? Even Cyber Elf Alpha can't defeat him, what a monster he is. When did the Sky Tower develop such a strong chess player? No one could deny Alpha's strong, terrible Star Go strength, after all, she was an unprecedented 7-star points chess player. However, such a 7-star chess player was defeated by a cloud in the sky. A crushing defeat. Countless legend-ranked beings studied their game, which was destined to be recorded in the history books. Everyone wanted to know how Alpha was defeated. Did they misjudge the players again? Each chess player who was defeated by Alpha could only smile bitterly when remembering her attack. Her attack and defense around Tengen with a cloud in the sky made their eyes brighten up. They never expected that the battle would be so fierce after putting the first chess piece onto Tengen. When Alpha used the Sea of Chaos, even Black Mage was dumbfounded. Compared to Alpha's Sea of Chaos, his Sea of Chaos was like a child's game. Until they saw the decisive moment, seeing the stars falling from the sky. Starburst. No one doubted the true strength of a cloud in the sky after seeing that. Just like what Alpha thought, other Star Go players were at the same level, she was at the higher level, and Yunshi was at the highest level, a place where they could never touch. Even the people who didn't understand the rules of Star Go would be shocked by the splendid scene of Starburst on the chessboard. At the legend rank, there could be a more fatal attraction from the collapse of all stars. It was an unparalleled strategy on the starry sky chessboard. Unlike other strategies whose goal was to eliminate the opponent's chess pieces, Starburst was a power that could totally clear the entire star map on the chessboard. Even Alpha's 15,000 times legend-ranked computing power could do nothing in the face of Yunshi's Starburst. No word could be used to describe how great this strategy was. Therefore, a cloud in the sky enjoyed an unparalleled treatment in the next games. Yunshi's 34th game. Before the game started, he heard a cry from his opponent. A cloud in the sky. You are the person who defeated Cyber Elf Alpha. Yes, it's me. Yunshi looked at his opponent. It was a 3-star points chess player, just like himself, named Master Shin. It's you. Master Shin looked at Yunshi's confused face as if he was looking at a monster. His body was still trembling after seeing Yunshi's starburst, and now, he faced the monster directly. Pleased to meet you. If it was the game of Go, it wasn't necessary to play the game, because both of the chess players would know that it would be a one-sided crushing game. However, they were at the starry sky chessboard, the highest stage of the wisdom in the endless gods' domains. Not all people, not even legend-ranked beings were qualified to take part in this stage. Even if he couldn't win, the truth that he could step onto this stage was already a supreme glory. All-Star Go players were the top wise people in the endless gods' domains, including Norn the god of wisdom, Orphina the ruby dragon, and Black Mage. No one was an exception. Each turn of the game on the starry sky chessboard could help them understand the secret of stars. Nowhere else was better than this place to observe the orbits of stars. Therefore, every time the starry sky chessboard opened was a great chance. Maybe he would concede after doing everything he could, but he wouldn't give up before he had tried everything, even though he was facing a person who even defeated Alpha, the unprecedented 7-star points chess player. Therefore, as a 3-star points chess player, Master Shin was overwhelmed by the unexpected favor, but he wouldn't be shy to have a try at challenging the strongest chess player. Yoon Shi won the game of guessing odd and even. He put down his first chess piece on 10 gen. 10 gen. Master Shin's eyes brightened up. Now, no one still dared to say that putting the first chess piece onto 10 gen would only appear in teaching games. Maybe only strong chess players like a cloud in the sky could call it teaching game. Could other people's 10 gen and a cloud in the sky's 10 gen be the same thing? It was ridiculous. This time, Master Shin also put his chess piece at a place close to 10 gen. Yes, he knew it. He would lose, and become an inconspicuous name in the battle record of a cloud in the sky. However, he would see the miracle personally, and become a part of the miracle. He was already satisfied with this result. He wanted to know how Alpha, the monster who defeated him, was defeated by this stronger monster. If possible, he also wanted to see the starburst again. It would become the biggest glory in his life. He would lose, but he would do his best, adding his color of life for this game. It's so great to play with the strongest Stargo player who is destined to be written into the annals of history. Yoon Shi could feel the changes contained in his opponent's chess pieces. He couldn't see Master Shin's face through the starlights, however, he could clearly feel his emotion from his moves. At this moment, Master Shin was in a very special mood. He was devout, dedicated, and somewhat holy. Not only so, a part of Master Shin's power was absorbed by the starry sky chessboard and naturally flowed into Yoon Shi's body. The power wasn't being absorbed by Teacher Kasina's projection but entered his mind. Even though it was just a part of the power of Master Shin's projection, it was still a pure, real legend-ranked power. He wins. He wins again. Next please. In the Sky Tower, God Tower, and Dragon Tower, more and more legend-ranked beings gathered together. Originally, the opening of the Starry Sky chessboard was a once-in-a-thousand-year great event. This time, this game was destined to be a legend that would shock all God's domain. Cyber Elf Alpha. The unprecedented 7-star points. The unprecedented 70 victories in a row. 4 newbies created the strongest record of newbies in history. Some Stargo players even swore that Alpha's Stargo strength was stronger than any chess player they had seen. Her computing power was probably even beyond the legend rank. When all people thought that Cyber Elf Alpha would become the new legend of Stargo, after achieving 70 victories in a row, she was defeated by a cloud in the sky. A total crushing defeat. The power of Starburst could shock gods and ghosts. Even these legend-ranked big shots couldn't imagine how it could be true. How deep an understanding about stars a cloud in the sky had? How could anyone make the stars self-destruct? Just like when everyone was paying attention to Alpha's killing spree, everyone was paying attention to Yoon Shi's battle record now. His style wasn't as fierce as Alpha's style, he could always achieve victory easily, as if his opponents were all newbies who didn't understand any rule of Stargo. However, after seeing his battle record, the game with Alpha, no one would think that his victories were just because of luck. His moves look simple, but have reached the realm of Tao. Yes, he is like the god of Stargo. We are not playing the same game. Most chess players from the Eastern God's domain had this feeling in their hearts. I thought that his weakness was attack, so he didn't dare to launch any attack proactively. How naive I was. I calculated it. Alpha's computing power is probably hundreds of times stronger than mine, and when she played with me, she didn't even use 1/10 of her computing power. Now, she was defeated by a cloud in the sky. Just how strong is he? Why? Why is there such a wide gap between us? Compared to the chess players from Eastern God's domain, the chess players from Western God's domain didn't understand what Tao was, but they had a more intuitive feeling to Alpha's Stargo strength. It was easy to find the gap of computing power on the chessboard. When you put down your chess piece and your opponent had figured out your next 10 moves, the sense of pressure could be sensed by every experienced chess player. Therefore, Alpha's crushing victory was so thrilling. Compared to her, Yunshi's style didn't give his opponents this feeling. They often thought, this is a newbie, I going to win this. Of course, now everyone knew that it was just a delusion. No one would still hold any illusion of winning after seeing the battle between Yunshi and Alpha, his 47th victory. Another loser. He is going to reach the 5 star points. Can anyone stop him? Impossible. Don't even think about it. Cyber Elf Alpha achieved 20 successive victories again. Norn the God of Wisdom and Orphina the Ruby Dragon are also reaping victories. This session of Starry Sky Chessboard is really wonderful. While a lot of legend-ranked chess players looked at Yunshi in awe, Yunshi easily achieved his 48th victory. Just now, I didn't see any 7 star points chess players, not to mention any of the higher star points players. Yunshi felt confused. In his imagination, 7 star points chess players were just common experts, 8 star points chess players could be called masters, and 9 star points chess players should be the strongest. However, since he didn't even see any of them, is the newbie protection mechanism still working? Because he met the 7 star points Cyber Elf Alpha, who shouldn't appear in the newbie area, to compensate, the Starry Sky chessboard only let him meet 1 star point, 2 star points and 3 star points chess players? If so, it should be an accident to meet the 7 star points Cyber Elf Alpha in the newbie area. Is my luck so bad? Compared to his confusion, a lot of legend-ranked beings held their breath and waited for the destined moment. 50 victories in a row. He reached 5 star points now. TSK, can anyone stop him? They are not at the same level. Wait. We are witnessing the birth of a brand new legend. The strongest Star Go player. Yunshi's 57th game, he met an acquaintance. Moha Mystery, this monk already had 3 star points now. Benefactor, you are preordained to join Buddhism. Moha Mystery's eyes brightened up. The last time he just said it to Yunshi habitually, this time, he said it honestly and even looked a bit impatient. Such a wise man who can even defeat a monster like Cyber Elf Alpha. If he can't join Buddhism, then who is eligible? He has great wisdom, which means great theurgy, and great theurgy means a great relationship with Buddha. If a cloud in the sky agreed to join Buddhism because of his persuasion, it would become a great contribution of Moha Mystery in Buddhism. Amitabha. Join Buddhism and all your wishes can come true. Thanks. Yunshi felt both funny and annoyed. In front of him, Moha Mystery was emitting golden lights from his body, and his face looked as if he was going to write "I'm a great monk" on his forehead. What is this? A new type of soft sail? Yunshi felt a bit interested. No, don't refuse. You are really preordained to join Buddhism. The sea of bitterness has no bounds, repent and the shore is at hand. If you agree to join Buddhism, I promise you can learn all scriptures of Buddhism, obtain golden kasaya and 8 god-ranked weapons, be protected by 18 arhats, 33 Buddhist nuns, and 72 Buddha's warrior attendants. Moha Mystery spouted his eloquent speeches and didn't mind that even he himself hadn't obtained these yet. Join Buddhism, you can obtain immortality. Behind monk Moha, Manjusri Bodhisattva picked a flower in her hand and smiled. Join Buddhism, form is emptiness and emptiness is form. Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva clasped his hands with a serious look. Join Buddhism, you can witness 3,000 paradises. Maitreya Buddha patted his big belly and laughed loud. You are predestined to join Buddhism. This time, it wasn't the persuasion from Moha Mystery, but the sounds from the 3 Dharmakayas together. He was trying to influence a cloud in the sky's mind using his theurgy. Gee, is it real? This time, Yunshi had to believe Moha's words and was slightly interested in it. Sadhu. Join Buddhism, you will get rid of all troubles. Seeing that Yunshi looked interested, Moha Mystery was delighted and excited. If Moha could persuade such a sophist to join Buddhism, he would obtain a great benefit. It would be even more important than his achievement on the Starry Sky chessboard. After all, he could barely obtain 3 star points, But a cloud in the sky even defeated that 7-star cyber elf alpha and created the unprecedented Starburs. Even though Moha only let him feel a bit interested in Buddhism, he could clearly feel that his merits and virtues were increasing rapidly. How much benefit can I obtain after I succeed? Even just thinking about it, Moha's body couldn't stop feeling electrified. But I don't know much about Buddhism. She felt hesitated. He put down his first chess piece onto Tengen. Monk Moha's body suddenly shivered. A flake of flour dropped from the projection of Manjusri Bodhisattva's hand into Moha's body. A wave of occult Buddhist aura quietly appeared around Moha's body. The body tree is not a tree, the mirror does no one reflect. Clean and polish frequently, how could there be dust anymore? The body tree is not a tree, the mirror does no one reflect. The mirror is clear from the beginning, why do we have to clean it? The body tree is not a tree, the mirror does no one reflect. Void it has been or is to be, no dust, nothing to collect. We can find our body in our hearts, why do you look for it elsewhere? Cultivate following my words, the paradise is right in front of your eyes. She confusedly listened to the Buddhist allegorical words, and vaguely felt a trace of Tao from them. Do you mean if a person had the heart of Buddha, he could see Buddha everywhere? Therefore, even if he didn't know Buddhism at all, he was already a Buddha? Body is in everyone's heart, and everyone is predestined to join Buddhism? Monk Moha spent a smile and nodded. Good, you have the heart of Buddha. The next second, Moha's body shivered again and put a serious look on his face. Nameo Holenji Ikkyo. What is misery? What is karma? I can give you a sword of wisdom, to cut off all threads of love in the world, so that you could enjoy the endless freedom. I can give you Sharasoju, so that you can keep your heart clean and be away from any evils. Well, Yunshi was suddenly overwhelmed with anxiety. Sword of wisdom? Endless freedom? Sharasoju? He suddenly had a bad feeling when he heard these words. No, it wasn't just his delusion. He could clearly feel something in the air changed when Moha said a sword of wisdom. As if a lot of eyes suddenly paid attention to this place from nowhere, they made Yunshi shudder. Amitabha. Even the will that was possessing Moha's body couldn't withstand the gazes of the eyes. It instantly left and let another will take over Moha's body. Go west. Go west. The sea of bitterness has no bounds, repent and the shore is at hand. Remember, go west, not just go to the western god's domain. Maitreya Buddha laughed and winked at Yunshi, then disappeared in the air with golden lights. Hiss. Moha Mystery gasped after realizing what happened just now. Just now, the 3 bodhisattvas and Buddha possessed his body and persuaded a cloud in the sky personally. Gosh. What great luck. Pa. Moha Mystery didn't pay attention to the chessboard at all, and his moves became disorganized. Quickly, he was defeated by Yunshi with a scared look on his face. Benefactor, you are. Before leaving, Monk Moha tried to make the last effort. However, before he finished his words, the sweat suddenly broke out all over his body and tricked down his back. A gust of frightening aura suddenly rose up from the chessboard and tightly locked on Moha's body. White. Yunshi realized the aura of the abyss. Isn't it the mysterious existence he summoned in his game with Alpha? Bald monk, die. White stared at the monk in front of her and felt uncomfortable. She couldn't stop her killing intention from rising high. Amitabha. Moha Mystery quickly quit the game, running away from the evil. Why do you come out? Don't you need time to structure your body? Yunshi looked at White. Her body was still just a black figure now. Humph. I just hate him. I hate Bald Monk. White looked angry. If it wasn't because her body hadn't been formed, she had chased after Monk Moha. As an unknown creature from the abyss, she didn't need any reason to eat anyone. You are too childish. Although Yunshi understood that White was an unknown creature, he didn't hate her at all. Even though she didn't even have a human-formed body, she naturally felt familiar. The last time he had this feeling was when he met Mew Mew, the poor girl who ran away from home. I'm not a child, why do I have to listen to your homily? White didn't understand her emotion at this moment. What is this feeling? I don't even know his name, and he just gave me a name White. I was so happy and even chased after him. I just heard that bald monk's words, then I felt annoyed and wanted to kill him. Since when do I be so impetuous? As the princess of the deepest abyss, I shouldn't behave like this. I looked like a spoiled child just now. It was too strange. White slept in a very, very deep place. No sound existed in this place, neither any lights. Even the concept of existence was close to zero here. Apart from the endless darkness, it was a world of nothing. To White, this was the cradle she was going to be born in, and she would be the princess of the dark abyss. Occasionally, she could hear songs echoed inside her ears. Sometimes, it was a gentle lullaby. What is the weakest thing in the world? It exists for protecting us. Even the stars in the sky are so beautiful, they can't make me move my eyes from you. This is love, because I want to see the same beautiful scene with you, because I want to hear the same clear sound with you, because I want to experience the same warm mood with you. Therefore, open your eyes, open your wings, my cute child. Sometimes, it was a jaunty ditty. The sun comes up in the east, I'm invincible, under the mulberry tree, I make a cradle for you. I have a tree that can connect the sky and earth. I have a mountain that can seal demons and devils. Oh, look. It's a big tree. It's a big tree. My children, you should cheer, because you are all my babies. Two mothers, two different songs, but they both contained their love for their children. Sleep, my child, it's not the time to open your wings. You are the princess of the abyss, you are the child of the great chaos. When you wake up, you will be the natural abyssal child. White didn't have arms and legs, and her figure didn't even look like a human. She could vaguely feel that her body was huge, which was far beyond the imagination of mortals. Sleep, sleep, my era hasn't come. My real mother and the mother of my body are all gestating me. Her birth, her real mother had fed her countless sacrificial offerings, forging the most terrible black shell for her using endless demons' flesh and blood. Her true body was hidden in the safest place in the endless God's domain, in the void where no one could interfere. She hadn't been born, but could already respond to the sacrifice from some special beings. She felt curious about the person who tried to summon her, so she left the endless abyss, peeking at this strange world in the darkness. Then, she saw her strong sister, God Phoenix. God Phoenix had another mother, the god above gods, Ionia, and the same mother with her, West Queen. Someone touched the abyss and aroused her from the endless darkness. She changed to a lot of languages, and finally found the right method of communication. You, where are you from? What are you? The body of the person who summoned her was covered by starlights, so she couldn't see him clearly. I'm from the abyss. I'm the princess of the deepest abyss. She said in a proud tone. Although she hadn't been born, she felt proud of her bloodline, her mother's. Oh, what's your name? I don't have a name. She felt a bit confused. Why didn't her mother, the master of chaos, Nyack, give her a name? Her sister had a good name, God Phoenix. She wanted a good name too. You are the princess of the deepest abyss, but you are friendly. How about I give you a name? She didn't know what a taboo he had touched. If he summoned her using a black magic, he had to sacrifice thousands of people's souls. If it wasn't because the starburst on the chessboard, he had no chance to summon her. Give me a name. Okay, try it. But, if you can't make me feel satisfied, I will eat you and let you become a part of the abyss. She wasn't joking. Each of her words was serious and would become the truth of the universe. If the name couldn't satisfy her, the abyss would obtain a new sacrifice. When you looked at the abyss was also looking at you. The endless darkness, the deepest abyss. I will name you White, how about it? The princess of the abyss felt surprised. The unknown existence from the darkest abyss. The absolute power that could overturn all things. White stood for the purest color. It sounds good. No, not just good. It is the most suitable name for me. White. 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 Good, I like it. From now on, my name is White. From the moment she obtained her name, a strange feeling was aroused in her heart. She knew she should return to the abyss as soon as possible, because every second she stayed here would consume a lot of her energy. To her whose body hadn't formed, It was dangerous to stay outside of the abyss. However, she just didn't want to leave. Because she was the princess of the abyss, the child of the great master of chaos. She could do whatever she wanted. Remember, you are not allowed to join Buddhism for all eternity. White waved her black tentacles and threatened Yunshi. Moha is an eminent monk, he means no harm. Yunshi felt interested in Buddhism. Actually, if White didn't come, he was prepared to talk about more things with Moha Mystery. The Sword of Wisdom he mentioned sounded interesting. If I can use the Sword of Wisdom to cut off the threads of love between me and my ex-girlfriends, can I successfully get rid of them? No, you are not allowed to join Buddhism. If you dare to do this, I will eliminate all monks in the world. When White said that, she was serious and her eyes were full of killing intention. She didn't like monks from the beginning. Only dead monks are good monks. I will keep watching you. As one of the incarnations of the abyss, White affirmed that he was an interesting man. Nothing could be better than this as an amusement in her sleeping period. She wasn't acting like a spoiled child. It must be just a delusion. Therefore, Yunshi obtained another special will, the gift from the abyss. It passed through Teacher Casina's body and entered his soul. He had collected a dozen similar wills after his battle with Alpha. Yunshi didn't know how they went into his soul, but he couldn't stop them. The nature of his soul was at the hero rank. How could he refuse the wills of the legend rank? Fortunately, apart from White's will from the abyss, all the others were from his opponents on the starry sky chessboard. No one was hostile to such a strong chess player. Yunshi could only feel reverence from these wills. He was too strong on the starry sky chessboard. Anyway, they did no harm to his body and didn't have any negative effects. After a few tries, Yunshi gave up and continued to play Stargo. Carry him out. The next. Moha Mystery was defeated again. I think no one would have any doubts now. 7 star points. I never expected that I could see the birth of 2 7-star points players in my lifetime. No, 7 star points isn't his end. The game hasn't finished. All legend-ranked beings looked at the name on the top of the ranking list with an air of wonder. As for the news that Cyber Elf Alpha had achieved another 50 victories in a row, no one cared about that now. People had understood that Cyber Elf Alpha's Stargo strength was strong, but she was still not at the same level as a cloud in the sky. If Cyber Elf Alpha was the king of Stargo, then a cloud in the sky was the god of Stargo. All other people were just mortals. Only here, on the mysterious starry sky chessboard, the legend-ranked beings would have this feeling. All people were waiting for the coming of an unprecedented moment. Who could stop a cloud in the sky? Or rather to say, what is the limit of successive victories on the starry sky chessboard? I have achieved 7 star points. Yunshi looked up at the mark of 7 star points above his head. He felt incredible. Isn't it too easy? Why are there so many 2-star points and 3-star points rookies? Was it because of the newbie protection mechanism? Is it a bug? Cyber Elf Alpha's Stargo strength wasn't bad. By analogy, 8-star points and 9-star points chess players must be stronger. Even he had to strive for winning. Yunshi had prepared to accept the truth that he couldn't achieve 100 successive victories this time around, and would come back after some hard practice. If only determining a person's star points from the number of the person's successive victories, it's really not reasonable. Maya also felt that this rule wasn't good. Of course, no matter what the rule is, as long as it is still a game on the star map, my master won't lose. Even though my master is still young, he is still the star child. While Yunshi was lost in thought, finally, his new opponent wasn't just a 2-star points or 3-star points rookie. It was an opponent who had 6 star points. Oh, that pervert. Skuld screamed when she saw Yunshi's 7 star points. Oh, this is fate, Erd shrugged her shoulders. Since the game was still continuing, this battle was inevitable. We can't escape from our fate, Verdandi sighed. No matter how they predicted it from the past, present, or future, their winning possibility was 0. The 72nd game, Norn the God of Wisdom vs a Cloud in the Sky. Erd looked at the chessboard and was already drunk. Sister, don't emit that strange sound, Verdandi said in a trembling voice. I mustn't run away. I mustn't run away. I mustn't run away, Skuld cried. Her sisters became strange. She would become the last fortress, protecting her sisters bravely. Unfortunately, the resistance of the weak was futile and meaningless in this world. As the Star Child, Yunshi was the god of Star Go. His moves on the chessboard looked simple, but could actually change the orbits of the stars. No matter what their attitudes were, they were destined to be defeated. I concede. Erd ground her teeth and crossed her legs. Ha, puff. Verdandi covered her face with her hands. Her neck was totally dyed pink. I must get revenge. Revenge. Skuld was the only one who still had the strength to shout. It was too shameful to experience that feeling again. After defeating Norn the god of wisdom again, Yunshi was in a sunny mood again. He didn't know the reason, but he felt happy when playing with the god of wisdom. He was interested in Norn's 3 distinct reactions. It's fun to play Star Go. After defeating Norn the god of wisdom again, Yunshi surprisedly found that he saw no new faces now. Precisely, this trend had appeared after his 50th victory, he just didn't find it out until now. Number 8 star points chess player, neither 9 star points chess player? After confirming that he had played with all the other 46 chess players, Yunshi noticed that the 7 star points Cyber Elf Alpha was actually the strongest chess player he had ever met. He even had only met one 6 star points chess player, Norn the god of wisdom. Pa. With clear sounds of putting down chess pieces, Yunshi defeated the 5 star points Duke Rome again. Awesome. You deserve to be called the Hand of Starburs. After being beat down again, Duke Rome didn't look disappointed, but had said that in a tone of respect. He had seen too many similar expressions from his opponents after his game with Alpha, and every time he would receive a legend-ranked will from his opponent. It was their respect for the strongest god of Star Go. It had nothing to do with right and wrong, but a sense of awe that even the 3 goddesses of Norn had to admit. Only Cyber Elf Alpha didn't leave a similar will on the chessboard. It was because of her special attribute. As the cyber god, her power was based on the planet quadrant computers in the Mechanus god's domain, so she couldn't leave her will on the starry sky chessboard. Infinite computing power was Alpha's advantage, but in some sense, it was also her shortcoming. When did I get those titles? Yunshi felt confused. The Hand of Starburst. The God of Star Go. The Saint of Cloud. The King of the Sky Tower. Duke Rome shrugged his shoulders and counted Yunshi's titles one by one, which gave Yunshi an impulse to hide into the ground. These titles are too embarrassing. He was just playing Star Go in a pleasant mood. How could he obtain these titles that sounded great? He couldn't be the Hand of Starburst, neither the God of Star Go. He was just good at finding the changes on the star maps. It had nothing to do with himself. For example, when he played with Alpha, he just found the trend of the destruction of stars and gave them a push. He also didn't expect it from the beginning. After the destruction, that starfield would obtain a new life. This was the circulation of stars. And the traces of the past stars would forever exist in the starlights at the speed of light. As long as the starry sky still existed, the memory of stars would never fade away. This was the first knowledge Yunshi had learned. It's a great pleasure for me to be the witness of the first 8 star points chess player. I hope I can meet you again when the next time the starry sky chessboard opens. Duke Rome bowed like a gentleman and disappeared. Yunshi achieved 80 victories in a row. Why does everyone think that it's such a great achievement? Is Star Go really that difficult? Till now, Yunshi still didn't understand why the other people couldn't see changes on the star map clearly. Apart from the Ruby Dragon, the God of Wisdom and Cyber Elf Alpha, everyone always made a lot of mistakes. Yes, it's not difficult. Maybe they just don't understand the orbits of stars. Master, you have great talent on this. Maya smiled. They were bringing about their own destruction to play Star Go with the Star Child. However, they also gained something from their failures. Nothing could be better than playing Star Go with the Star Child if one was seeking for the secret of the stars. Master, do you see it? Everyone presented their power of will to Master. It was an equivalent exchange actually. Unfortunately, Master can't absorb them now. They are too strong for Master's hero-ranked soul. The 90th game. Cassina. 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 My honey, teach me how to play Stargo. How did you create the Starburst? If it wasn't because I remember your smell, I would wonder if you are a fake. Orphina looked at Cassina's body with a look that made Yunshi feel creepy. If it wasn't because of the protection of the starlights, he would have run away. Because of that creepy feeling, his moves on the chessboard also became fast and powerful. Yes, Yunshi started his attack. He never wanted to finish a game as quickly as possible like now. Gee. No way, you can actually put down your chess piece here. Slow down, Cassina. Don't be in a rush. Whoa. I'm miserable. Gosh, how can I lose so fast? Orphina felt both painful and happy. Cassina, I'm going to look for you. Wait for me. Finally, Orphina moved her eyes from the chessboard and looked at Yunshi with her glistening eyes, and her announcement made Yunshi sweat like a pig. Well, just look for Teacher Cassina. It has nothing to do with me. Yes, that's it. Yunshi hypnotized himself. He achieved 9 star points now. After that, he could clearly feel the wave of his opponent's respect in each game. On the starry sky chessboard, the codename A Cloud in the Sky had become the symbol of invincibility, just like the battle god Cassina in the Mystery World The Battle Gods Championship contest. The 91st victory. Black Mage. The 92nd victory. Maple Teeth. The 96th victory. Hero of Might. The 99th victory. Norn the God of Wisdom. Finally, he met that slender girl again. Cyber Elf Alpha. After 100 rounds, he won. He achieved 100 victories in a row now. In front of Yunshi, Alpha looked at him grudgingly. No, she didn't feel bad because she lost again, but because she couldn't use all her strength. After the game with Yunshi before, her 15,000 times legend-ranked computing power had dropped to less than 7,000 times, not even half more than the peak value. Over half of the planet quadrant computers crashed because of overheating. They couldn't work again before some heavy maintenance of several months. Even so, with half of the planet computers, her computing power was still strong enough to beat down everyone apart from Yunshi, and obtained the opportunity to play with him again. However, she felt very unsatisfied. This time, with only half of her computing power, she was defeated quickly. Even though she had rebuilt her mathematical model again, she still had no chance to win. It was too bad. She wanted to enjoy the game, but her hardware configuration wasn't sufficient. It was like a person who finally bought his favorite game, but sadly found that his old computer couldn't run the game. No, I swear it won't happen again. I must build more planet computers using the fastest speed. I will go to look for you. I will upgrade to 120,000 times legend-ranked computing power as quickly as possible. No matter where you are, I will find you and play Stargo with you again. Her heart pounded and the antennas on her forehead formed a big heart-shaped symbol. After saying that, Alpha hurriedly left the starry sky chessboard. This game also became Yunshi's last game on the starry sky chessboard. He had achieved 100 successive victories. This moment was witnessed by all legend-ranked beings in the Sky Tower, God Tower, and Dragon Tower. Norn the God of Wisdom, Orphina the Ruby Dragon, Black Mage, Duke Rome, Moha Mystery, Cyber Elf Alpha. All chess players looked up into the star-studded sky in their gods' domains. Countless fireworks rose on the starry sky chessboard. This was a scene only Yunshi could see. Countless bright stars flew into the air above the starry sky chessboard and demonstrated the circulation of stars. Destruction and rebirth. Countless lights crossed and formed a dance of the Star River. It was the gift for the unprecedented champion of 100 successive victories. Being surrounded by infinite star lights, Yunshi was overwhelmed by an unexpected favor. At the same time, the rewards of the 100 successive victories were also presented in front of Yunshi. They were 4 doors. The first door was engraved with countless dragons. Fire Dragon, Green Dragon, Black Dragon, Special Jade Dragon, Bronze Dragon, Legendary Giant Dragon. All kinds of dragons on the door were vivid. The Dragon of Order, the Mother of Time and Space, the master of all things, the incarnation of birth, life, and death. Yunshi read the words on the door and somehow, he started perspiring. No, can it be? No, change the door. The second door was emitting beautiful 7-colored lights, which looked similar to the lights in his game with Alpha. The colors of earth, water, fire, wind, light, and dark mixed on the door and were engraved on a slate, as if they were announcing their master's omniscient power. The god above gods, the master of the 7-colored world, the host of the market of gods and demons, the omnipotent one. This is. Yunshi remembered his dream of stars. No, not this. Change the door. Yunshi had had a very bad feeling at this time. The third door was made of countless souls. 2 gods of death stood on both sides of the door. It seemed that there was nothing under their black cloaks, but it also looked like they contained everything. The root of pain, the god of disorder, the nameless madam, the master of the city of Sigil. No way. Can these doors be all? With his last hope, Yunshi turned to look at the 4th door. Endless black sea was roaring, and from time to time, unknown monsters with 1,000 eyes and 1,000 hands would be born in the sea and fly to one world after another. The unknown terror, the incarnation of chaos, the mother of the abyss. Okay, now my 4 ex-girlfriends are all here. Why are the rewards of the Starry Sky chessboard the 4 doors? I only want a soul Jade. Yunshi raised his hand and told the award issuer, although he didn't know if the award issuer really existed. Soul Jade. He heard a machine-like, unemotional voice. After a while, dozens of soul jades appeared in the air in front of him. Are they all soul jades? Yunshi didn't know what a real soul jade looked like. In fact, before he had heard it from Taka Kasina, he didn't even know of the existence of soul jades. Soul jade of 4 spirits. A soul jade made of monsters' souls. You can make a wish to it, and it will disappear after your wish is fulfilled. Soul jade of innocence. You can store your memory in the jade. Even if your existence was totally wiped off from the universe, your memory in the soul jade wouldn't disappear. Soul jade of blood. You can use it as the core of your god weapon. It can be upgraded by killing and finally evolve to be the rule of killing. Soul jade of holy light. Put on this soul jade and you can obtain a light-type talent. Looking at the dozens of soul jades, Yunshi hesitated and finally pointed to the soul jade that was covered with soft white lights. I choose this, soul jade of innocence. Gee. Master, that isn't the best soul jade. Maya looked at the soul jade which was emitting warm white lights. Apparently, the soul jade of 4 spirits was the strongest. As long as you keep releasing the power inside it, it could become a super god weapon. And undoubtedly, the soul jade of blood contained the greatest potential that can keep growing. It could be used as the core of a god weapon of killing, which was quite appropriate to be her master's weapon. After all, Yunshi would face more and more crazy trials. The soul jade could keep upgrading and growing in battles. Even though he didn't like those 2, the soul jade of holy light was good too. He didn't need to do anything and just put it on, then he could obtain a top-level light-type talent. Yes, it isn't the best one, neither the most helpful one, but I think it meets Teacher Casina's requirements. Teacher Casina told me to look for a soul jade that can heal my soul. I don't think my soul is injured, but if it's true, I think only this soul jade can help me. Moreover, it has no requirements in its owner's physique. Yunshi said with a tone of confidence. You decide your reward, master. Maya nodded her head although she didn't fully understand. Okay, I choose the soul jade of innocence. Yunshi pointed to the soul jade. Its value isn't high. As the first chess player who achieves 100 successive victories, you can choose one more. The unemotional voice told Yunshi good news. Thanks. Then, I want that soul jade of holy light. Compared to other soul jades, Yunshi preferred the soul jade of holy light, which could strengthen his light-type talent. Then, congratulations. You are the first Stargo player who achieved 100 victories in a row. You are titled Master of Stargo. Before you are defeated, it's your exclusive title. Only 10 star points chess players can issue you a challenge. You activated the hidden requirement of the Starry Go chessboard. The rules of star points will be changed. From now on, the star points will not only be based on the number of one's successive victories, but will also depend on one's performance in the game. And you will be the only master of star go above 10 star points. Based on the performance of all chess players, apart from Orphina the Ruby Dragon, all 5 star points chess players will be relegated to 4 star points. Norn the God of Wisdom will be relegated from 6 star points to 5 star points. Cyber Elf Alpha will be upgraded to 9 star points. The code names of 1 star point chess players are as follows. The Starry Sky chessboard won't appear randomly and will become a normal mystery world like the Battle Gods Championship contest. The difficulty of the beginner test will be lowered. With the sparkling of starlights, the rules of the Starry Sky chessboard was totally reformed. Yunshi's 100 successive victories and his starburst activated a special reservation mechanism of the Starry Sky chessboard. The stage of the highest wisdom in the Endless Gods domains finally actually descended into the world. At the same time, the Starry Sky chessboard also recognized Yunshi's achievement. The Master of Star Go. Just like Cassina's title Battle God, it was a unique glory in the entire Endless Gods domains. The Master of Star Go? Me? Isn't that too exaggerated? Yunshi was dumbfounded. He thought that he didn't deserve such a great title. He didn't think he was that strong, it was because other people made more mistakes than him. This was the only reason he could win. Teacher Cassina must have expected this, so she sent me to this place. Without Teacher Cassina's body, I couldn't even enter the Sky Tower. You don't have to be modest. You are the strongest Star Go player. Now, all towers are automatically opening to you. You are welcome to come to the Starry Sky chessboard at any time. Master of Star Go. Somehow, although the voice was still unemotional, Yunshi felt a little respect from its tone. Picking up the 2 soul jades, Yunshi left the Starry Sky chessboard. When his feet stepped on the altar again, his mind still didn't recover. When he finally realized what happened, he was already being surrounded by countless, various messengers. Some of them were animals such as Fat White Pigeon, Vivid Light Dragon, and Creepy Owl. Some of them were items such as the floating leaf of the world tree, rattling mechanical puppet, an Eastern-style flying sword. All the messengers were coming to him. A cloud in the sky, the legendary master of Stargo, whose rank was even higher than 10 star point. After the rules of the Starry Sky chessboard changed, the position of 10 star points was temporarily empty. Cyber Elf Alp was the only 9 star points chess player, then were the 5 star points Orphina the Ruby Dragon and the 5 star points Norn the God of Wisdom. Obtaining the title Master of Star Go meant that Yunshi had become a legend of the Endless Gods domains just like his teacher Cassina. Yunshi randomly opened several messages and saw impassioned invitations. Dear Master of Star Go, I invite you to go to the Sea of Chaos. I'm willing to gift you 10 planets. The message from Black Mage. Cassina. 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 I love you. Wait for me in the Sky Sword God's domain. The message from Orphina the Ruby Dragon. I want to see you. There is something I need to tell you. Badman. I will get revenge. Apparently, the contradictory message was from the 3 goddesses of Norn. A promise is a promise. After I finish repairing the planet computers, I will see you in the Sky Tower. The message from Cyber Elf Alpha. Haha. I'm not the Master of Stargo. You got the wrong person. After reading several messages, Yunshi immediately made a decision. I will never expose my true identity. Let Master of Star Go become a real tale. Puff. After leaving the Sky Tower, looking at the long-lost bright sun and golden seashore, Yunshi let out a sigh of relief. The mission is accomplished. I got the soul jades. Teacher Cassina must have expected everything, so that I could accomplish my goal so easily. No wonder that she was the 6th Sky Sword, the master of the sands of time. Yunshi didn't even doubt that she could see the future from the hourglass on the sands of time. Looking at the 2 soul jades in his hands, Yunshi was excited. Because he entered the Sky Tower in the method of projection, he couldn't take out any material object from the tower. However, a soul jade was a rare treasure that was both material and virtual. It was bound with its owner's soul, because it was so valuable. Nana, in a happy mood, Yunshi walked out of the door of the sky tower and then knocked his head on something cold and hard. Ouch! In a daze, a warm hand pulled him up. Looking up, he saw a pair of familiar silver-grey eyes, which were cold in his memory but were warm with joy at the moment. You did well, disciple of Cassina. The guardian of the sky tower, the oldest sky sword's voice sounded clear and euphonious. Compared to her cold attitude before, she was like a block of melting ice, giving him a feeling that spring was coming. I'm good. Yunshi was tongue-tied, just like every young boy who first saw his dream lover. He didn't know what to say and what expression he should put on his face. Even though he was the White Emperor, the master of Stargo, essentially, he was just a 16-year-old boy, who felt annoyed not too long ago because his childhood sweetheart would leave him. He was dumb in the face of the girl who would only appear in his dream. Yes, you did well. You are as good as Cassina. The old guardian held his hands with a gentle look. Year after year, she saw a lot of people go to the sky tower and leave, but the points of the sky tower was still slowly declining. If it wasn't because of Cassina, the sky tower's points would have dropped to the bottom. Her emotion as a human was gradually vanishing. Bit by bit, the sky sword god's domain and the oldest sky tower only made the guardian of the sky tower feel disappointed. She stood for absolute order, so she couldn't change the rules of the sky tower, neither get into the sky tower. Cassina the battle god was the only sky sword who was still maintaining the past glory of the sky tower. Without her performance on the battle gods championship contest, the sky tower may have been forgotten by people. In the past, the sky tower was as famous as the current god tower, but now, only Cassina was still keeping up appearances. People had forgotten the achievement of the deicide sky swords. I hope you can make persistent efforts, seeking for the real meaning of the towers. As the guardian of the sky tower, she had stayed here too long, so much so, that she almost forgot the reason why she couldn't leave. Yes. I will. In the blink of an eye, Yunshi had forgotten his idea of never coming to the sky tower again. If possible, can you tell me your name? He still wanted to know her name, he was eager to meet her again. As long as the sky tower is here, she will be here, right? In this case, even if he had escaped from the sky sword god's domain, he could still meet her. Thinking of this, he couldn't stop his smile. You can know my name. I'm the guardian of the sky tower, the holder of the Azure godsword, the arbitrator of the sky sword god's domain. My real name is Lilibet Elizabeth. Before I became the guardian, people called me the Azure godsword dancer. Maybe it was because she hadn't spoken for a too long time, her voice still sounded cold. However, as she spoke, the door of her memories was slowly opened. She gradually recalled her appearance when her god sword hadn't been awakened, and she was still the child of a god on the battlefield of gods and demons back then. She lost everything in the twilight of the gods. Apart from her Azure god sword, she didn't have anything. Her homeland had vanished into the void along with the old great gods, buried under the ashes of history. After losing everything, she finally chose to be the guardian of the sky tower and the arbitrator of the sky sword god's domain. The fast increasing points of the sky tower was like a key, arousing the frozen Azure godsword dancer from the deepest side of her heart. Yunshi didn't understand what he had brought for the sky tower. He didn't understand how important his title of Master of Stargo was. After the deicide sky sword disappeared, and West Queen started to ignore the world outside Kunlun god's domain, only one sky sword, Cassina, was still kicking in the sky tower. Based on the rules of the 7 towers, the points Cassina won for the sky tower was far from enough. However, Yunshi's performance helped the sky tower earn a lot of points. On the list, the ranking of the sky tower had risen to the 5th place. Apart from Cassina, the points Yunshi earned was more than all the other people in the sky sword god's domain. Lilibet Elizabeth. Yunshi repeated her name several times, and thanked teacher Cassina in his heart. Don't worry about your identity. As the guardian of the sky tower, I will protect you. She brandished her Azure sword and gave him her promise. Protect me. She wants to protect me. Suddenly, Yunshi found that the world was so wonderful. At this moment, even his worry about his ex-girlfriends totally vanished in his heart. Playing Stargo is really a good thing. In the name of the Azure godsword dancer, I grant you the guard of Order God seal. Lilibet raised her azure sword and lightly touched his forehead. With a flash of blue light, Yunshi felt as if his body was washed by a stream of cold water. Something went into his body along with the cold feeling. Done. Now, no one will find that you have borrowed Cassina's body. Lilibet sealed the final trace that may expose Yunshi's identity and pointed at his chest. Don't use Cassina's projection the next time. You are the master of Stargo, you have obtained your own mark. My mark. Yunshi looked at the place Lilibet pointed at in confusion. Somehow, there was a mark of the chessboard on his chest. Yes, just like Cassina, the Sky Tower has remembered you. From now on, you don't have to come to the Sky Tower by using Cassina's projection. You can play Stargo freely. I'm looking forward to your performance in the future. Raising the azure sword in her hand, Lilibet lightly patted it on his shoulder. In this era, you are the only person who obtained the recognition of the Sky Tower by using your own power. I hope you can become a mainstay in the future, just like Cassina the battle god. Yunshi looked at Lilibet, the girl of his dreams, with expectations. If I come back, can I see you again? My mission is to guard the Sky Tower. I will always be here as long as the Sky Tower exists. If you want to see me again, come to the Sky Tower to take part in the trials, Master of Stargo. Lilibet nodded in the response to Yunshi's question. Then, I will be back. Yunshi found that it wasn't a bad thing to be the Master of Stargo. Goodbye. Lilibet sheathed her azure sword and walked back to the golden seashore. In the distance, a group of wandering souls flew close to the Sky Tower. She brandished her sword, returning to her daily work, sending the lost souls back to the afterworld of forever silence. Oh, I see, so it is. Looking at her, Yunshi realized that he was also one of the souls that were eliminated by her. However, he already could stand behind her and be recognized by her. Thank you, Teacher Cassina. Yunshi pressed the hourglass-shaped mark on his forehead and his body gradually vanished in the air. Unfamiliar ceiling. There were patterns of stars and a picture of twin sisters on the wall, which looked graceful and beautiful. Where am I? Yunshi was confused. Apparently, he wasn't in the girls' dorm. When did he come to this strange room? Oh, Master, I forgot to tell you, Maya said sheepishly. You have stayed in the mystery world of the Starry Sky chessboard for 3 days. In order not to make people doubt, I let Star Thunder, Starfire, and Star Snow possess your body. I promise that they didn't make any mistakes. What? I have played Stargo 3 days. He was shocked. Thinking again, it wasn't a surprising thing. There was no day and night on the Starry Sky chessboard, it was hard to know the exact time there. It wasn't strange that 100 turns of the game had cost him 3 days. Because he found pleasure in it, he didn't notice the passage of time. But, why did Star Thunder, Starfire, and Star Snow possess my body? How could the 3 little guys play the role of maid perfectly? Don't worry, Master. They did well. Actually, they did too well. Suddenly, Maya's voice became faltering, which made him have a really ominous presentiment. What happened when I was playing Stargo? Why did I wake up in an unfamiliar room? Whose room is this room? Hey! You wake up. He heard a familiar voice beside his side, which was so sweet that it could make people drunk. No way. Why is she? Why is she? Star Thunder, Starfire, Star Snow. What did you do? Yunshi slowly looked back, and saw the girl's snow-white body. On the wide, white bed, the girl wasn't wearing anything and was sleeping deeply like a beautiful begonia. Why is it you? Yunshi really got intimidated when he saw the girl's face. Red Lotus. The strongest hero-ranked person in the White Lotus sword domain. Unsurprisingly, he saw the young sister of the twin witches, who slept on the other side of the bed. Compared to Red Lotus, at least White Lotus wore a white silk nightclothes. Although he could see a part of her tender skin from this angle, his face still turned red and his heart couldn't stop pounding. Star Thunder, Starfire, Star Snow. What happened? Why am I on the twin sisters' bed? Whoa. This is really a great crisis. I'm done. Farewell, my dream of being a gentleman. Looking at the defenseless sleeping twin witches, he only wanted to cry. PS1, I got a problem when trying to publish Book 7 on Amazon, so I published Book 1 to 7 via Draft 2 Digital. You can buy the ebooks on Apple Books, Kobo, or Barnes&Noble. Because it would waste too much time to publish the 7 ebooks on these platforms one by one, so I published the 7 ebooks as one, and the price is still $2.99 so that you won't spend more money if you only want to read Book 7. You can click the name of the platforms above or here to buy the ebook. PS2, if you have bought any ebooks before on Amazon, please rating the ebooks on the Amazon pages. It will be the best method to support us. Thanks a million. 3 days ago, in Yunshi's room, when Yunshi was in the Sky Tower. Listen, you have a task. Maya's projection floated above Yunshi's head. In the front of her, 3 puppies sat under the sunlight and waited for her orders. Star Thunder, Starfire, and Star Snow, they are the original 3 members of Maya's Proud Star Spirit team. They obtained wisdom from the White Lotus Secret Wisdom and were taught by Maya personally. They had a bright future. Now, they had their first task from Maya. Don't worry, the task is simple. Even you can do it well. Maya threw out her chest. Master went to play Star Go, but his body still has the instinctive reaction. It just can't move of its own will. You don't need to do nothing, just control Master's body to appear in front of everyone. Because you haven't even learned how to speak, you should avoid anything that may expose yourself. Therefore, I have prepared this excuse for you. Maya took out a paper card with confidence. This was the trump card she specifically made for the Star Spirit team. Everyone, I'm practicing a special technique called closed mouth Zen, so I can't speak for several days. Don't worry, the practice will only take me several days. When I'm practicing this technique, I won't open my mouth no matter what happens. Please take compassion on me. Yes, this was Maya's perfect plan. Therefore, the 3 puppies actually didn't need to do anything, they just needed to control Yunshi's body, letting it move following its body memory. Smile. Remember, no matter what happens, just keep your smile. Maya raised her hand and ordered. Woof. Star Thunder raised her paws calmly. Woof. Starfire raised her paws confidently. Woof. Star Snow raised her paws gracefully. Smile, just keep smiling. Even they could accomplish such a simple thing. Okay, let the plan begin. Remember to smile. Maya was satisfied with this perfect plan. She nodded 3 times rapturously and allocated the time of possessing Yunshi's body for the 3 puppies. In the morning, Mai stretched herself and looked at the maid uniform in confusion. She sniffed around with curiosity because she hadn't got used to the strange and familiar body. She felt strange, because she never moved using a human body before. It took her over 10 minutes to learn how to stand up using only 2 legs. She felt familiar, because she smelt her favorite odor from this body. If it wasn't because of this odor, she had died in her mother's belly. As the big sister of the 3 puppies, she was born with a strong sense of responsibility. Staying in front of the mirror, Mai, Star Thunder, used 15 minutes to get used to Yunshi's body and remembered not to walk with 4 limbs. This memory would also be inherited by her sisters, so they didn't have to learn from the beginning again. In the mirror, the black-haired maid gracefully lifted the corners of her black dress and lowered her head in peace. Ta. She opened the door. A new day for the maid Mai started. What? You are practicing closed mouth Zen? What's that, Mai? It sounds mysterious. This was the reaction of the common girls of the Starwing Knights. I know. It's a high-ranked training method of Buddhism. Close mouth, close eyes, and finally close 5 senses, stop eating and drinking. After accomplishing it, you won't die even being buried in the soil for 100 days. Oh, it's a pretty difficult training method. Mai, you dare to challenge it. You are awesome. This was the reaction from the noble girls. Whoa. Mai, won't you starve to death? No. Well, this was the reaction of Ling Ling. I feel that Mai looks more like a lady today. Yes, she is like a real aristocratic miss. This was the Mai in the eyes of common girls. Perfect etiquette. Mai is practicing hard. Closed mouth Zen isn't easy. Mai has apparently achieved something. This was the Mai in the eyes of noble girls. No, Mai, don't become a nun. I will be with you forever. Well, This was Ling Ling. Anyway, this excuse Maya looked for the 3 puppies was expedient. At least, the girls accepted it in the beginning. Of course, only one person was an exception. Mai sipped a cup of warm milk and looked around with curiosity. It was a fresh experience for her. Before today, she could only stay in Yunshi's room all day. This was the first time she appeared in front of so many people in the form of a human. She didn't understand a lot of things, she didn't know how to ask and answer. However, she could feel a warm and cordial feeling from these girls, as if there were countless invisible threads that were connecting them together. PS1. I got a problem when trying to publish Book 7 on Amazon, so I published Book 1 to 7 via Draft 2 Digital. You can buy the ebooks on Apple Books, Kobo, or Barnes&Noble. Because it would waste too much time to publish the 7 ebooks on these platforms one by one, so I published the 7 ebooks as one, and the price is still $2.99 so that you won't spend more money if you only want to read Book 7. You can click the name of the platforms above or here to buy the ebook. PS2. If you have bought any ebooks before on Amazon, please rating the ebooks on the Amazon pages. It will be the best method to support us. Thanks a million. Mai, are you okay? Mai, I don't want you to practice the closed mouth zen. I feel that you are not like yourself. Whoa. I'm lonely. Ling Ling gazed at Mai with a look like she was going to cry. Mai blinked her eyes and gave her a smile. After all, apart from smiling, she didn't know what she could do. Whoa. Poor Mai, come here, eat more. Ling Ling looked at the smiling Mai with a sad look and gave her favorite butter cake to Mai. It smells good. Mai's ears slightly shook, her animal instinct almost made her expose herself. Finally, her sense of responsibility overcame her animal instinct. She nibbled the cake as if she was a real lady. Mai, cheer up. I will tell everyone that you are practicing closed mouth zen. I will tell them not to bother you. See you later in the Sword Palace. Mai. Don't starve yourself. Eat something. The girls of Starwing Nights left the dorm by 2s and 3s. After enjoying the best breakfast in her life, Mai hesitated for a while and went in a different direction. It wasn't the path leading to the Sword Palace, nor did Mai know why she went this way. It should be some kind of the body's instinct memory. Gradually, green plants became more and more. This was the forest garden of the girls' dorm, the secret garden of girls. In the garden, there was a special corner. Pushing aside the branches, Mai stopped in front of a medicinal field. In the medicinal field, a slender figure was cultivating the valuable herbs in the land. Maybe it was because the elements in the air were abundant here, these delicate herbs grew well. The most important herbs showed a light red and their succulent leaves looked cute. Apparently, the figure who was cultivating the herbs was the only pharmacist in the Starwing Nights, Lulu. In order to become the perfect girl of her love, and for the same trouble of her friends in the Starwing Nights, Lulu was always the first one who got up in the morning. The dragon plants in the medicinal field weren't easy to cultivate. Even in the dragon god's domain, only very few pharmacists could cultivate this special raw material, which could be used to make a dragon's favorite wine. At this moment, the red dragon plants were being moistened under the morning sun. If it wasn't because of the power of Lulu's bloodline, it wouldn't be possible to cultivate them in this remote sword domain. Lulu hadn't even eaten breakfast yet. And computing the time, she would also be late going to the Sword Palace. Okay, now they can maintain 3 hours liveliness. Little dragon plants, grow up fast. After her daily care, Lulu let out a sigh of relief. It was still too hard to cultivate these high-level herbs. Several times, because of her instinct, she gave up her classes in the Sword Palace and ran to the medicinal field, so that she could save the dragon plants that suddenly needed to be irrigated. Several times, she even forgot to eat and put all her heart into these herbs, so that she could save them from dying. In this process, she understood the power in her bloodline more and more, bit by bit. Finally, the memory of the pharmacist Lulu and the memory of the original swordsman Lulu merged together, becoming the same mind. She liked to cultivate herbs, she was the wife of the White Emperor in the Water God's world. She liked her friends and family, she was a member of the Starwing Nights. Because of a fantastic opportunity, the two minds became the same. She was the little rabbit from the poor village in the water god's world. She was also the girl from the White Lotus Sword domain, the girl who carried the hope of her civilian family. The two minds finally realized that they were the same person, they just went down two different roads due to different starting points of their lives. During the process of cultivating the herbs, the two roads met again, the two minds recognized each other. Lulu had become this unique Lulu. She stopped trying to hide her rabbit ears and did her best to help her friends by using the power in her bloodline. And everyone in the Starwing Knights also accepted her and gave her a very important mission. This medicinal field was the hope of a lot of girls in the Starwing Knights. Of course, it didn't include Hua Yu and Ling Ling. In some sense, they were the enemies of all girls of the civilian camp of the Starwing Knights. Hey! Lulu raised her head and saw the beautiful figure who was looking at her. Mai, good morning. Somehow, after realizing that Mai had seen her entire process of cultivating the herbs, Lulu blushed. Maybe amongst all the girls of the Starwing Knights, only she realized something, which she should never know and should never tell anyone. Looking at Lulu's red face, suddenly, an uncontrollable impulse rose in Mai's heart. Wait. Why? I'm not controlling it, but Master's body is naturally walking to the girl. Lulu looked at Mai in shock, because she just naturally walked up to her, naturally held her hands and naturally kissed her on her lip. Why did you suddenly do that? In fact, I know your real identity. You are, no, I can't say it. It's a secret, I should never expose it. Mai gazed at her with a look of innocence. It wasn't her fault. She was just smiling and the body itself naturally walked to her. Why was this body so skillful? Even though Mai, Star Thunder, was innocent, she knew as a lady, she shouldn't kiss other people so casually, even if it was another girl. You, as expected, you are. Lulu covered her mouth in surprise and happiness. I felt it. I finally felt it again. The same lips, the same temperature, the same kiss. Oh, it's you. Even though your appearance is different, but all details of your moves had exposed you. You are the most perfect one in the world. Oh, without warning, Lulu started crying. Finally, I have waited for this time for such a long time, I meet you again. My emperor, my faith and belief, the only one I love in this world. This moment, the pharmacist Lulu and the swordsman Lulu finally became the same person, making no distinction. Because they were loving the same person. He was the chosen one of the water god's world, he was the White Emperor in the endless mist, he was the beloved one of the water god. At the same time, he was also the person in the swordsman Lulu's heart. Mai, Star Thunder, looked at the crying Lulu at a loss. She didn't know what she should do in the face of these tears. It doesn't matter, I don't understand, but the master of the body understands it and knows what he should do to let the girl smile through the tears. With the experience of dealing with 1,000,000 brides, it becomes an instinct in this body. Although Lulu wasn't crying for that thing, she was crying with joy. However, the White Emperor only needed one method to comfort the crying girl, which had been proved countless times. No matter who the bride was, they couldn't resist his gentle move and intimate behavior. As the first bride, naturally, Lulu had zero resistance to it. Kissing the familiar lips was like driving a light carriage on a familiar road. He slowly sucked her sweet tongue, until the shy Lulu's body became limp and fell into his arms. Well, do I need to keep smiling at this moment? Mai didn't know the reason, because she had no qualifications to answer it. When Lulu's mind recovered, her face had turned red and her body was grasped in his arms. The feeling of the kiss was different. This time, it was more sweet with a charming fragrance. Whoa, with an irresistible impulse, Lulu's sweet tongue tasted that feeling again. Deep or shallow, the two tongues tangled together, just like that time in the water god's world. Lulu gently responded to all the demands from the person she loved, and she got rid of her confusion and inhibitions, realizing her real heartfelt wishes in this morning. At this moment, her mind became empty and clear, instantly striding over the final impediment. Countless spirit chi in the air gathered together and was absorbed by Lulu's body. Her bloodline talent was totally awakened. The road leading to the god pharmacist was opening to her. Finally, Lulu achieved the hero rank. She was the gentle little rabbit in the water god's world. She was the female knight of the Starwing Knights. She finally made her choice. She chose god pharmacist and not female swordsman as her hero-ranked career. She didn't give up practicing her sword skill, but she realized that the Starwing Knights needed a god pharmacist and not a new hero-ranked female swordsman. It wasn't just for cultivating the dragon plants but also for the future of the Starwing Knights. Moreover, as the wife of the White Emperor, isn't it a natural thing to help him use her best talent? She didn't regret her choice. As long as she could stay beside him, she didn't mind putting down her sword. Thank you. There was no earth-shaking lightning nor any anomaly that could shake the heaven and overturn the earth. Lulu quietly made the most important choice in her life in the forest garden. Lulu pulled up her socks, stood on her toes and kissed him on his lips, as if she had seen through my, "Oh, you must have known my confusion, so you come here to encourage me using this method, which could very likely cause you to expose your biggest secret. In return, I give you my faith and loyalty, just like when we were still in the water god's world. You are my god. It doesn't matter. I will keep this secret for you. I will be your little rabbit forever." Lulu whispered and blushed. "So, do you want to taste the rabbit today?" Mai chose to smile. PS1. Book 7 is also purchasable on Amazon now. Click here. Sorry for the inconvenience. PS2. Book 8 will be from C525 to C588. In the morning, a light golden beetle was lurking under the leaves. The 6 golden dots on its shell were emitting beautiful lights. If Yunshi was here, it would feel somewhat familiar, as if he had seen this little beetle in a special place at a certain time. At this moment, the holy beetle was watching the scene in front of it, recording the images of the two people in its eyes. "Oh, I'm too weak." Although she had entered the world of the hero rank, Lulu was still the little rabbit. She was devout and virtuous, loyal and sensitive. That day, she ran to the apostle of the water god and told him her heartfelt feelings. That was the biggest advance in her life. She had no resistance to the apostle. So she was disheveled and breathless now. "Oh, I'm going to be late for class." After wearing her clothes, Lulu hummed a jaunty ditty and left their secret basement. The golden beetle also opened its wings and flew to its master quickly. In the sword palace, the tutor was giving a lesson of Western sword skills. Who Are You squinted her eyes and checked the video over and over again. "It's surprising. I underestimated her. That little rabbit. I didn't expect that she would be the first." The holy beetle hid behind her clothes and absorbed her vitality to recover itself. The golden lines on its shell became brighter and smoother now. Compared to the loss of a little vitality, Who Are You was satisfied with the beetle's efficiency. It was a servant from her family. Even in the entire Western God's domain, it was a rare holotype creature. If it wasn't for her white golden rose bloodline, she wouldn't have any chance of obtaining it. After using it, Who Are You realized its value. It wasn't just a rare holotype creature, it could also change its appearance freely, and could also record the scene it saw. Its only flaw was that it couldn't record sound, but the video it recorded was perfectly clear. For instance, from the video Who Are You had watched dozens of times over, she could even see the transparent thread of saliva on Lulu's lips. Of course, she didn't watch her intentionally. She just let the holy beetle watch the medicinal field and Lulu, in case that any accidents happened. As the team leader, she had the responsibility to protect all members of the Starwing Knights and smooth the relations between civilian girls and noble girls. Although she was the absolute leader of the noble girls' camp, however, she was also the leader of the entire Starwing Knights. She was voted for by everyone, including the civilian girls. As their team leader, she thought that she should pay attention to the topics and wishes of her team members. Lulu's medicinal field was the final hope of half the girls of the Starwing Knights. So she sent the holy beetle to watch the medicinal field and protect Lulu. Don't judge the holy beetle's combat power from its small size. In some sense, its strength was even stronger than Who Are You. Its speed was so fast that a human couldn't see its trace of flying with their naked eyes, and with a flash of golden light, it could easily pierce through a well-armed knight's plate armor. She didn't expect that she would see any troublemaker but saw the scene she shouldn't see. "Replay it again. Who are you?" ordered the Holy Beetle in a serious tone. In the video, Mai appeared and suddenly, Lulu cried. Mai walked to her, held her in her arms and kissed her lips. What did they say? Why did Mai walk to her naturally and kiss her? Why did Lulu cry and fall into Mai's arms? Pause. She paused the scene at the moment when Lulu stood on her toes and kissed Mai positively. The scene of two girls kissing each other was as beautiful as a fairy tale. Even the medicinal field behind Lulu smelt the fragrance and blossomed white flowers. It's strange. Why? Mai didn't say anything. Firmly remembering the scene in her mind, "Who are you?" blushed. Mai was practicing the closed mouth zen, she knew it. Lulu was cultivating the dragon plants from morning to night, she knew that too. What happened between them that could make Lulu fall? Besides, wasn't Mai's kiss too skillful? Her moves and her smile looked as if she had done it many times. When did that start? Why didn't I notice it? When did they become so intimate? As the leader of the Starwing Knights, how could I know nothing about it? I love you, you are the only. From the shape of Lulu's mouth, "Who are you?" gradually figured out what Lulu whispered. "I will protect this secret. I will be your little rabbit forever. Do you want to taste the rabbit today?" Then was the face-blushing intimate time, the important information that made "Who are you?" watch dozens of times without winking. Secret. What's the secret? Mai, she likes the genre of Lulu. It seems that Lulu knows something we don't know. Oh, I didn't notice that Lulu's feet are so beautiful. The Holy Beetle buzzed in confusion. Its small brains couldn't let it understand the reason why its master watched the video over and over again. Store it up, name it The Secret Time of the Little Rabbit. It's a secret, I won't tell anyone. As an excellent lady, the leader of the Starwing Knights, I will keep all secrets of my team members. So, let's watch the video again. Mai walked casually into the old galley of the Sword Palace. Many girls around her looked at the black-haired maid with curiosity. Her waist-length hair and strong strength made the mysterious maid become a topic for the entire Sword Palace. After all, she was the legendary maid, whom it was said that the Invincible Hua said no one can touch Mai. Besides, she was also one of the core people of the Starwing Knights. As an emerging organization, the Starwing Knights became the focus of everyone from the very first day of the new term. The Sword Palace never had an organization that had so many excellent girls. Even the weakest girl was at the second rank, and the civilian girls and noble girls lived together in peace within this small organization. Although there were also a civilian girls' camp and a noble girls' camp in the small organization, the cohesiveness and power of the Starwing Knights were unprecedented. Rumor had it that even Hua was also a member of the Starwing Knights. Regardless of Hua, the two leaders, Hua Yu and Xiao Cao, were also the most excellent students. Their teachers spoke highly of them and guaranteed that they had zero problems for entering the hero rank. Not only them, but all girls of the Starwing Knights also had that infinite potential. A dozen girls were thought to be able to enter the hero rank in the near future, and the remaining girls also had a 70% likelihood to enter the hero rank within a few years. 70%, what does that mean? The Starwing Knights had over 30 members, 70% meant that this small organization would have over 20 hero-ranked members in the future, including super geniuses such as Hua Yu and Xiao Cao. Even in the entire Sword Palace, there were only a dozen hero-ranked disciples now. No one would doubt that the Starwing Knights would have a bright future. Therefore, a lot of female swordsmen wanted to join the Starwing Knights. Unfortunately, no one had succeeded up to now. Rumor had it that the requirement of the Starwing Knights was high. The only new member was Miu Miu, the little girl who often hid behind the twin witches. They even counted Miu Miu as part of it. The entire Starwing Knights had only 38 members. However, the girls who had submitted their applications to Hua Yu were 10 times more than the first 38. In fact, apart from the few female swordsmen from high-level sword domains, almost all female students in the Sword Palace had tried it. The Starwing Knights, which had only been formed for about 1 month, almost had the ability to dominate the White Lotus sword domain. And everything referred to an old tale of the Sky Sword God's domain. No one knew when and where the tale was derived, and the version was distinct in different ears. However, they had the same element, a black-haired girl who could bring good luck. She had a perfect face and skin, her long black hair contained mysterious magic. In the stories, the female swordsmen who were blessed by the black-haired girl could obtain the blessing of fate. The female swordsmen whose fates were blessed could obtain a brilliant life. Originally, it was just a tale. It was a small probability event that a female could be the number one in the entrance test of the Sword Palace. Moreover, the female must have perfect black long hair, snow-white skin, and delicate face. However, the girls of the Starwing Knights proved that it wasn't just a tale. Almost every girl heard about the same miracle from the girls of the Starwing Knights. They were just common female swordsmen whose sword talents were average. However, after obtaining the black-haired girl's lucky charms, their understanding of sword skill suddenly advanced by leaps and bounds in one night. Not only that, even though they faced an unexpected disaster and were dropped onto a deserted island, they also didn't face any danger. On the contrary, they obtained a great opportunity in the water god's world. After Cassina the battle god took them away from the water god's fantasy island, all of them awakened their special talents. They were really incredibly lucky. Moreover, their luck was still continuing. They just arrived at the Sword Palace and immediately obtained the blessing of the legendary White Lotus secret treasure. Do you still not believe it? Then look at this. There were also a lot of male swordsmen on the floating ship White Lotus, and they also entered the water god's world. However, 1/3 of them even gave up entering the Sword Palace and returned to the mortal world. Compared to them, the luck of the girls was incredible. No one still doubted the tale after knowing the experience of the girls of the Starwing Knights. Everyone affirmed that they were the most lucky people. The starting point of everything pointed to one person. After investigating, the person's identity was no longer a secret. And the secret of her black hair can bring good luck was also no longer a secret. My, Star Thunder, looked at the girls around them in confusion. They were all gazing at her with longing. Especially when they gazed at her beautiful black long hair, I even felt as if their eyes were emitting bright green lights. What should I do now? Keep smiling. Walking casually in the passage, my, Star Thunder, felt that the atmosphere was becoming strange. Why is the quantity of female swordsmen behind her becoming more and more? Why are they looking at me with desire? To be precise, they were looking at her long black hair. Even though my, Star Thunder, didn't understand a lot of things, she could clearly feel the hot desire in their eyes. At this moment, the girl who never learned to read the atmosphere appeared. Ling Ling exclaimed and saved Mai from the dilemma. She ran to Mai. Those lethal weapons on her chest shook heavily along with her rapid footsteps. For a moment, Mai also felt the giant impact, literally. Ling Ling ran too fast and couldn't stop in her tracks. She ran into Yunshi's body and her full breasts become the perfect buffers. Mai couldn't help but stretch out her hands, holding her in her arms. The hand feel was soft, smooth, and flexible. No wonder that she was a representative of the noble girls just like who are you. Her perfect body could lead others to sin. Mai, I have bad news. Someone is looking to make trouble for you. Ling Ling looked around with a crying look and told Mai the news she heard nervously. Mai looked around with a smile. No. This is not happening. Yes, we just feel curious. It's prohibited for us to make trouble for you. The girls around Mai quickly shook their heads. Even though they were eager for Mai's black long hair, no one actually dared to do anything. After all, Mai was the maid of that monster. Moreover, that monster specifically announced her ownership of her maid. As long as they still had brains, no one dared to do anything to Mai, who was protected by that monster. They all witnessed how she beat down all the hero-ranked disciples of the Sword Palace, and even Xia Ling, the princess of the Great Xia, couldn't withstand 3 turns under her attacks. They would never forget her announcement. The words from the strong people were right. No matter how arrogant and brusque she was, as long as she was still the strongest, her words would be the law amongst all the disciples. Her words were even more effective than any written laws. This was the reason why they didn't ask Mai for anything, although all of them were eager for Mai's long black hair. Of course, as a bimbo, Ling Ling didn't realize this at all. She just heard that there were people who were interested in Mai's black hair, then quickly realized that Mai would get into trouble and started to look for Mai without thinking it through. Her frankness was also to her advantage. Because of this, although the civilian girls of the Starwing Knights were jealous of her good development, they got along well with her. After all, who would really hate such a simple, optimistic, cute girl? Mai, Star Thunder, wasn't an exception. She could feel Ling Ling's temperature, which was warm and intimate. This body's temperature was also familiar, so naturally she held her in her arms and enjoyed her cute body. Oh, this, how can it be, can't they? So, she is those two are. The atmosphere between Mai and Ling Ling was too obvious. The eyes of the girls who saw this scene brightened up as if they just saw two beautiful flowers in a secret garden. In the Sword Palace, they lived in the independent girls' dorm. It was rare to see males there. Therefore, they were sensitive to this kind of event. Even the tutors of the Sword Palace turned a blind eye towards these things. After all, they were young and lively girls. Strict management wouldn't be too useful and may even accomplish the very opposite. Anyway, only in this period, in the half-closed Sword Palace, these girls would love fantasy and be immersed in it. After they graduated and stepped onto the wide stage of the Sky Sword God's domain, they would naturally forget these romances and grow up. Propagate the doctrine, impart professional knowledge, and resolve doubts, they were the meanings of the Sword Palace. As for the small fantasy of these adolescent girls, they also had a space in the Sword Palace. Mai looked around in confusion. She didn't understand why the atmosphere here suddenly became stranger just now. Everyone looked at them with interest. Their eyes looked as if they were saying, so that is what it is. Mai, I will protect you. Don't worry. I'm here, no one can hurt you. Ling Ling nerved herself and threw out her chest. Not surprisingly, her breasts touched Mai's chest. No comparison, no harm. Feeling the sizes of Ling Ling's breasts, Mai was lost in thought. The feeling is strange. However, it isn't repugnant. Her body even had an impulse to move its face close to them and absorb nutrients from them. This was a wish from the same memory of Star Thunder, Starfire, and Star Snow. Their mother, the dog, died immediately after giving birth to the three sisters. She didn't leave a drop of milk for them. When the three sisters were just born and tried to suck milk from their mother, they only felt that their mother's body was becoming cold. Now, the instinct in their genes revived again. Mai, it's itchy. Ling Ling couldn't help but laugh in Mai's arms. After finding that Mai wasn't being bullied, she let out a sigh of relief. Mai lightly patted Ling Ling's breasts and smiled, holding her hands naturally. She restrained the instinct, as if a voice was telling her that it wasn't the right place to do this. As for where the right place was and when was the right time, Mai's simple mind didn't understand such a complicated thing. It was all the body's instinctive reaction. In the Sword Palace. In the history class. An old, white-beard tutor was excitedly introducing the biggest pride of the Sky Sword God's domain. Today, I will introduce the life of one of the strongest sky swords. The holder of the Sands of Time, the sixth sky sword, Cassina the Battle God. We all know that Cassina the Battle God is a very rare sky sword who has never used her sky sword. However, according to the speculation of other legend-ranked people, it's absolutely not because she doesn't know how to use her sword. As the strongest martial artist, how can she not know how to use a sword? A general speculation is that her sword skill is strong. However, due to some reason, she sealed her ability to use her sword. Tutor. Someone raised his hand from his seat. Speak. I know you are interested in this. The tutor smiled. All students were interested in the sky swords, the strongest people of the entire Sky Sword God's domain. They were living legends, the strongest people at the same level as gods. Moreover, the sixth sky sword really appeared in the White Lotus Sword domain. When Cassina's floating ship the Sands of Time landed, almost all people witnessed it. Moreover, the disciples in this session were saved by Cassina from the water god's world personally. Even the tutors of the Sword Palace were jealous of their good luck. I saw Master Cassina before. Why does she look young? Yes, how old is she? Several girls asked. Compared to Casina's strong power, they cared more about her ageless face and perfect body shape. Good question. I think you all have noticed it. Although I don't know Master Casina's age, she has indeed overcome the passage of time. This is also one of the main points I'm going to teach you. It's a bit too early for you, but you must remember. Legend-ranked beings can overcome the rules of nature. They never need to worry about such matters as birth, death, illness, and old age. From the hero rank to the legend rank, essentially, it was a rise in the nature of life. It can even be regarded as a perfect change of life form. Many of you may have touched the door of the hero rank. I know some of you have had the confidence to enter the hero rank. The history tutor took a glance at the girls of the Starwing Knights. Anyway, you were all blessed by the White Lotus secret treasure. It's really a miracle. It was a remarkable thing to teach a hero-ranked disciple by any tutor. The names of all hero-ranked disciples were engraved on the sword stele of the Sword Palace. Amongst all the names, Yunhai the Sword Master was the brightest. He was the pride of the White Lotus Sword Palace and even the entire Sky Sword God's domain. Yunhai's name was on the top of the sword stele. Even though these hero-ranked disciples wouldn't stay too long in the White Lotus Sword domain, they would leave and look for a better opportunity in high-level sword domains. However, it wouldn't change the glory of the sword stele. This was also the reason why the Sword Palace turned a blind eye to the disciples from high-level sword domains. After obtaining the blessing of White Lotus secret treasure, they also needed to leave their names on the sword stele. The noble families also connived it. After all, even Yunhai the Sword Master left his name on the sword stele. They would lose anything to let their descendants leave their names on it. Most hero-ranked tutors in the White Lotus Sword Palace were old and didn't have any chance to go the next in cultivating. They just chose the Sword Palace as their rest home, just like fallen leaves returned to their roots. Hero-ranked beings couldn't get rid of the restriction of birth, death, illness, and old age. They could live longer than mortals, but in essence, they were still mortals who had stronger life forces. Even reaching the 6th rank like the master of the White Lotus Sword domain, he couldn't resist the passage of time. Everyone could see that their respected master was becoming older and older. However, he had the Twin Witches as his successors, therefore, no one worried about the future of the White Lotus Sword domain. After all, they were the Twin Witches chosen by the White Lotus secret treasure. They could make the White Lotus Sword domain great again. The appearance of the White Lotus secret treasure was a sign. Then, why can Master Casina overcome time? Is it because of her sword, the Sands of Time? Have other sky swords also overcome time? Once the topic started, everyone was curious about the power of the legend rank. Overcome time, it's a privilege of the legend rank, the history tutor sighed. Thousands of secret skills, thousands of ways of immortality. However, how many people could really overcome time, becoming a real legend? The legend rank was a concept that was hard to understand by mortals. Even mortals still had a ray of hope to enter the hero rank. However, the legend rank was far from touchable. It already entered the realm of gods. It was impossible to tell a summer insect what ice was. Similarly, it was impossible to let a mortal understand what the legend rank was. In fact, not all legend-ranked beings are immortal. Even in the legend rank, the 6th Sky Sword, Casina the Battle God is one of the strongest people. I know you don't understand the meaning of the title Battle God now, but I'll have to tell you. The tutor paused for a moment, then said. In the Endless Gods domains, only Casina is called the Battle God. She is the most terrible martial artist in the entire Endless Gods domain. Under the podium, Ling Ling and Mai held each other's hands, listening to the history tutor's undisguised praise towards Casina the Battle God. Mai, so Casina is such an awesome person. I saw you were intimate with Casina the Battle God. Hey, tell me, is there a secret between you and Master Casina? Mai said nothing. She didn't understand the reason, but when she heard the name of Casina the Battle God, her heart suddenly started pounding, the temperature of her body started rising, and her forehead was perspiring. It was an instinct that was engraved inside Yunxi's body. Oh, I forgot that you are practicing the so-called closed-mouth Zen. Ling Ling giggled. She felt that Mai was more approachable than usual. Mai looked at Ling Ling's full breasts again with a trace of longing in her smiling eyes. To Star Thunder, Starfire, and Star Snow, they lost their mother even before they opened their eyes. Their longing for sweet milk was forever a regret in their lives. Although their master fed them a lot of milk and delicious golden bread, that regret was still rooted in the three sisters' memories like a massive hole. And Ling Ling's appearance knocked open their shared desire like a key. The desire for milk was an impulse deeply rooted in their instincts. They never sucked milk from their mother because she died immediately after giving birth to them, and this desire became a sense of loss engraved in their souls. Therefore, no matter it was mature Star Thunder, naughty Starfire, or gentle Star Snow, they all liked Ling Ling. To be precise, they liked her beautiful, papaya-like breasts, which could apparently catch the eyes of both males and females. In some sense, Star Thunder, Starfire, and Star Snow were pure and simple enthusiasts of big breasts. It had nothing to do with their race and identity, it was simply a favor in their bloodlines. Hiding in Yunshi's body which wasn't being tied to a mind, Star Thunder naturally exposed her real heart. The moral principle of humans was never a problem to the three sisters. After all, they were just dogs. Ling Ling's instinct was right. Today, Mai was being too intimate with her and without any disguise. Ling Ling couldn't stop her heart from pounding when they stayed together, holding each other's hands. If she was a common member of the Starwing Knights, she would be restrained and behave like a lady. Unfortunately, Ling Ling wasn't common. She always did whatever was her mind wanted immediately and without a second thought. This was Ling Ling. Hey hey. Mai's smell is agreeable. Lying in Mai's arms, Ling Ling forgot that they were in class. Mai smiled and lightly stroked Ling Ling's hair, listening to the history tutor's lecture. The sixth sky sword, Cassina the Battle God, is the strongest known martial artist in the Battle Gods Championship contest. Every time she went to the Battle Gods Championship contest, hundreds of legend-ranked beings would go to watch her. From her first battle to her record-breaking 999 successive victories, she didn't even lose once, not even ending in a draw. You probably don't understand what a great achievement that is. Think about it, Master Cassina's opponents weren't just all humans, there were dragons, elf priests, lava giants, and a lot of other legend-ranked beings. None of them were a match for her. Mai, your smell is familiar. It's comfortable. Ling Ling closed her eyes and enjoyed her happy time with Mai. It was too good to listen to the history lesson. There are no other members of Starwing Knights here. Mai was thinking and questioning. A spark of wisdom was being born. She was exploring the secret of her master's body, trying to find an answer from it. It was probably the first time she started thinking on her own. It was an important moment for her, just like the moment the first human of the human race started thinking. Who am I? Where am I? Where am I going? Master, tell me the answer. Unfortunately, Cassina the Battle God hasn't come to the Battle Gods Championship contest for a long time, but her disciples were kicking butt there recently. Let's look forward to the birth of the next Battle God. While the history tutor was speaking, Mai found the answer from the body, which was given by the instinct of Yunshi's body. Mai, Star Thunder, smiled and held Ling Ling's hands, who was confused about what she was going to do. Mai brought Ling Ling back to the familiar place from the morning, where it was told by the body. No one would come here at this time. It was a knowledge that didn't need to be taught. A familiar scene. Pink petals, fragrant medicinal field, and the thick growth of grass. Yes, this was the secret garden of the Starwing Knights, where Mai enjoyed the little rabbit this morning. The body just moved following its instinct. It didn't have a mind that could tell it no, stop, don't do it, and no, it's not what a gentleman should do now. Which meant that Mai wasn't a gentleman at present. She was moving following her desire. Moreover, Star Thunder, who was controlling this body, also had a natural impulse, which had made the thing that would happen to Ling Ling become destined. Mai. I think, it's not good to cut the class. Ling Ling raised her hands. As a good girl, she never cut a class before. Looking at Ling Ling, Mai smiled. A happy smile which was filled with desire. Mai. My. Ling Ling confusedly looked at Mai, who slowly approached her, gently stretched out her hands and pressed on her breasts. She skillfully opened Ling Ling's bra, looking at her smooth skin exposed in the air. Mai, Star Thunder, stuck out her tongue and lightly licked with curiosity. Ah! Ling Ling groaned like a cat. Her body almost became weak and limp. Mai was immersed in the touch which could bring happiness and didn't have any intention of stopping. Mai, this place, will any person come here? Ling Ling didn't really resist Mai's behavior, but she worried someone would see them. Mai shook her head and lightly pressed her fingers on Ling Ling's watery lips. No, no one would come. Because this was the secret garden of the Starwing Knights. Mai's teeth lightly bit on Ling Ling's full fruits, enjoying the wonderful, soft, smooth skin, which was covered by a layer of pink right now. Her breasts were full, but didn't sag. The towering double peaks didn't know the principles of gravity at all. Her cute and slightly trembling appearance was like a budding pink rose, seducing Mai to pick this flower. Taking their clothes off, to Mai's wishes, she finally tasted the sweet juice. Kissed on the top of the bud, a taste of sweet liquid naturally echoed in her mouth. Mai, Star Thunder, couldn't help but swallow. The liquid quickly went down her throat, and the taste was much sweeter in the memory of Star Thunder's bloodline. Ah, oh, the groan of the girl echoed in the secret garden of the Starwing Knights. Soon, the golden beetle returned and hid under the leaf again, and loyally recorded the sweet scene. Well, it was definitely not peeping, but the duty of the holy beetle. It must watch the medicinal field for the Starwing Knights. It was a secret weapon of the leader of the Starwing Knights. As for seeing the things it shouldn't see and finding the secrets it shouldn't know, they were just some small probability event. Yes, it couldn't be because Huayu found the thing in the morning, so she specially let the beetle double the guard here. Ling Ling ground her teeth and puffed in the green grass. Her wet hair tightly stuck on her snow-white skin, and her beautiful face still looked radiant. Green beads of dew dripped on her naked body, flowed past her flat belly and dropped onto her slender legs, making cute Ling Ling look more pretty. This time, is Ling Ling? As the leader of the Starwing Knights, Huayu started to worry about the trend which appeared in the Starwing Knights recently. Ling Ling, you also ran first covertly. The sword skill class was still going on. Huayu ground her pen with a worried look. For the first time, she felt that the passage of time was too slow. What happened? It's not noon yet, and there were two great things that happened in the secret garden today. Lulu. And Ling Ling. Who would be next? Mai, what are you thinking? At the same place you enjoyed Lulu in the morning, you enjoyed Ling Ling at noon. Are you going to keep on in the afternoon and at night too? You will soon expose yourself if you don't stop. The most important thing is why you chose Lulu and Ling Ling. I think I should be more intimate with you. If anything happened, I should be the first. Why? No, don't panic. I'm the most excellent member of the White Golden Rose family. I must keep calm. Huayu forced herself to calm down and showed a perfect smile on her face. Don't worry, don't hesitate. All members of the Starwing Knights are connected together due to Mai, so we supported each other and arrived at this point. Didn't we? We all like Mai, and it isn't a secret that everyone wants to be more intimate with Mai. However, Lulu and Ling Ling are moving too fast. What magic have you used? How did you make Mai become so proactive? In Huayu's memory, Mai wasn't a girl who would proactively get touchy-feely with others. She was kind and a bit shy and restrained, however, she would step forward bravely if any of them was in danger. This was the Mai she knew and the Mai she liked. There must be something wrong. Mai looks like she is enjoying it too much. Huayu watched the two videos again. She ground her teeth and had a wild guess. Mai, maybe it's because she is practicing the closed mouth zen, so she becomes more approachable than usual. Maybe the closed mouth zen got her into a very special mental state. If it was true, then it wasn't because of Lulu or Ling Ling, but, you're tuning in to the Dreamy Chapters YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.